Ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? Just actually forgot I didn't have the transition enabled there. There we go. No, wait, we're going to do this again. I'm not going into this without my transition. Let's cut again. I want my beautiful transition. We're going to transition to the exact same thing. It doesn't matter, but folks, welcome on in to the COD Ireland broadcast. We are in week 3. Already time is flying in this season 1, and we have a double feature from a team tonight who are playing catch up in the league. A little bit slow in starting their games, but we're getting there. They're flying through this week, and they are playing 2 games, one after the other here in their desperate attempt to try and catch up and stake their claim in Division 1 Group A. We have Infinity FPS going to be playing game 1 against Billy is Funding, and then straight after they'll be moving on to their game against Flux Esports. So 2 cracking games tonight, and all of these teams with the caliber players that are on them should be vying for near those top spots, and we'll certainly be seeing each other again when it comes to a playoff stage. So we will see who can get the initial upper hand in the group stage as we are over halfway through the season, and next week we will be rounding the group stage to a close by not this Sunday coming but the next, before we go on for a Christmas break and come back in the new year. And on top of that, we are going to have an announcement to do with season 2 coming within the next couple of weeks. So for those of you who missed out on season 1, don't worry, you'll be able to get yourself straight into the next season in the new year. 2025 could be the year for you for COD and the year for COD Ireland, so make sure to keep an eye out on that, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely stoked to be here. Think it should be a fantastic broadcast, and what is awesome about this as well is we are currently live in 2 places. We are live on Twitch as normal, but also testing out the live broadcast feature over on Twitter, or on X should I say. Maybe the fact that I'm on streaming on X, I should be saying X. But welcome to everyone who's decided to watch over there. We got a couple of viewers there, we got a couple of viewers here, and it should be a lot of fun, the games that we have this evening. We're in that little point of a season where everything's moving nice and smoothly, but of course for these teams, that is when the pressure begins to ramp up. Week 4, of course, is where they'll all start getting really scared and be really wanting to make sure they get their games played correctly. So yeah, let me just double check here with these teams. Of course, we're running a little bit behind this evening as normal, but don't worry, we're going to be getting the game started ASAP. Give me the code in 5 is what I'm telling to the boys. We're going to be getting into this game hopefully within the next 5 to 10 minutes, so we'll be quite speedy with this. But before we do anything else, I want to show you guys very quickly if I can actually go to the right thing, I want to show you guys the current Division 1 group standing as of last night. So I don't know if games have been played since, where this may not be entirely accurate, but as far as we had it updated, and I believe it was updated last night, could be mistaken on that, we have without further ado, not going to take you back here too long. I'm going to run you through the maps and modes that we have for you this evening, and then after that we'll be getting prepared for the game. So folks, let me switch over to this. I believe I have it right. If I haven't, forgive me. It's been a week, folks. It's been a week. Ladies and gentlemen, we have map number 1 of this evening, which will be a vault hardpoint Again, Vault really been one of those maps now that is commonly chosen by all teams, and understandably so. Definitely one of the stronger maps in the game, and one of those maps that absolutely does work for search and destroy. Or hardpoint, should I say. So hardpoint, search and destroy, and control. It really does actually work for the all-rounder. So I was half right, just not right in the map that I was talking about. But when it comes, or the mode, should I say, all over the place today. But when it comes to the search and destroy, we are moving over to Protocol. Again, very different to a Vault, but the map selection by these teams in this one is one where there's some of the same ones, but ultimately there's a little bit of variety, and we're two teams who are maybe feeling quite well-rounded on what they can bring on these maps this time around. Of course, as I said, they are two very high caliber teams, so they are both going to be looking to do the damage here and try and catch each other out, and maybe that is what is partially contributing to the unique map selection. But of course, we move over to map number 3. We return to Vault this time for control, and I've often said it, but I will say it again. These maps in terms of, or this map in terms of control and hardpoint, play very, very similarly to each other. And sorry folks, just getting responded to the players there as they get ready to go. We are running very much a one-man show in the background here, but of course we hope to expand on the streams in future to maybe get a production team. Of course, here's hoping. Oh, we're already on that. Switch to the wrong thing. Folks, I told you it was all over the place today. I really wasn't lying when I said that. But folks, if we do make it to a map number 4, we will be going to a Skyline hardpoint. And while Vault requires sort of all the COD skills to come into one, with the ARs, the subs all doing their own job, Skyline hardpoint is just absolute chaos. So we'll be at a point by map number 4, both of these teams are warm, they're beginning to feel the pressure, they'll be as switched on as they're going to be in a series, so it's going to be absolute pandemonium at a time where both of these teams will be feeling themselves the most. So that map will be chaos if we get there, and if it eventually does go all the way, we do find ourselves over on a rewind, search and destroy. Sort of a surprise one thrown in there. We don't see it chosen as much, and we may not see it this evening. Again, given the caliber of both of these teams, it is very up in the air. But I gotta say, I would love to see these teams play this map if we get this far. It's a series that, you know, it could go there, but I would be surprised. I think once a team finds themselves in a good rhythm in this series, they are going to get it over and done with. Momentum will be key. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, those are your maps and modes that we are going to be seeing. Make sure not to go anywhere, as we're going to get loaded into the game now and get ready to go. See you guys over on X, see you all over on Twitch, showing support to COD Ireland. Massively appreciated, and I cannot wait to get these games underway for you tonight. And remember, game number 2 this evening, Infinity FPS once again playing, but going against the top dogs, Flux Esports. They have to play against the 2 top dogs here this evening. A mountain to climb. Can they do it? We'll find out shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be getting in just one moment. We are having a couple of technical issues with getting the game started. The lobby dropped out in the private match, of course. Very, very typical for something like that to happen. But folks, I've asked already, who do you think is going to come away with this one? You have Billy as Funding, who are near top of the table, and then you have Flux after the fact for Infinity FPS, who are top of the table in Group A of Division 1. Infinity FPS playing catch up on their games this evening, trying to fly through the games this week as they don't really have any other choice but to do so, and will hopefully be trying to start, or hopefully for their case should I say, be trying to start Icy here this evening. And you can see the maps on your screen as well with the Vault Protocol, Vault Skyline and Rewind. What's interesting as well, folks, take note of the bands. For those of you who may not know, because we had to give these teams generic logos, the team in pink is Infinity FPS and the team there in black is Billy is Funding, but also when in game, Billy is Funding will be in blue. It just makes it easier. Turns out, folks, that using black and white as colors in the COD caster make things very, very difficult. So we are giving them the generic blue color as well for this game. And I am actually getting joined into the lobby as we speak, so we should hopefully be good to go soon. So folks, I'm going to get the final setups done on this end and we'll try and get in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be starting in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe any moment now we are ready to go. Ready to go has been given by all teams. The lobby will hopefully be beginning in just a few moments. We will be going onto that map number 1 that you can see in front of you in this series. Should be an absolutely cracking game. Again, appreciate the follows that have come in this evening, folks. You're absolute legends. Follows coming in over on Twitch. Those of you watching on Twitter, if you want to go and show your support on Twitch as well, absolutely do so. We're on the grind for affiliate over there. If you want to hop over and give us a follow at least to try and support on all platforms is greatly appreciated, but absolutely love you being on Twitter as well. The Twitter doing really well, the Twitter stream, which I am surprised at, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Legends in the making. And folks, as season 1 of COD Ireland League is in the second half, we'll be moving ever closer to that playoff stage where we will cover as many games as we possibly can in the new year. We take a little Christmas break, everyone go on the holidays, reset, regain, and try to play for those prize pools in the beginning of 2025. And season 2 will be coming not long after that, more information on which we will release very, very shortly. So do keep an eye on all the socials for that, and make sure to get yourselves into our Discord. Make sure to follow us on all our socials to be ready to get yourself into this league next season, where we will have more divisions, more teams, and more carnage, and hopefully more coverage of all the games that are going on. It is a great time to be in COD. Black Ops 6 is popping off, so looking forward to it. All of players are in as sent before. Just waiting for those final ready ups, folks. We all know what COD kids are like, right? We all know there's delays, but delays no longer. We're ready to go. Map number 1. Gonna be a cheeky bit of Vault Hardpoint. Who is gonna come out on top of this one? Both of these teams vying to do damage, but only one will be able to be on top after map number 1. Who's going to be? Let us know and get hyped, because this game should be an absolute banger. Best of luck to both of these teams. We are loading in, preparing to get mixy. Here we go. And we are going to start on board with Devon. What's the play here, Devon? Getting pushed inside early on. Going round with that Amas. Billy with the first kill. Cormac with 1. But Cormac with a huge 2 for the side of Infinity FPS. That's a 3 down EH, the last alive. And Billy actually doing the job. And the Codcaster seems to be actually moderately fixed with some of its issues. Hallelujah. Those of you who've been watching the streams will know of the issues that we had. But Billy now playing around the point. Billy for Billy is funding, of course. I wonder who funded this one. Let me know who you think. But folks, on board of Billy, 3-0 has just been dominating, defending that point, but ultimately goes down. And Infinity FPS have now broken through with JC having the spawns for new. And Infinity, you know, somewhat controlling the kills, but not controlling in the time, and a bit of a disparity in the kills early doors. But again, you look at that spawns, they're perfectly set up for P2, where they're going to regain some of that initial time. And Cormac just playing the hold. How's the break going to go? Mulbs defending the back well. Fro going to go for the break, but Infinity has that held down. But now the back break is in. EH picked up 1. They're going to try and pick up another. JC got 1. EH is going to have to take him out. But JC could be getting 2. A bit of unfortunate timing there. May get penned in. JC turns around and he has had a magnificent start here. Popping off with that Amiz, but they are really flooding out the back now, and they flooded through the front and got the time. And so far it has been very even, very give or take. But which one of these teams is feeling hotter than the other? Of course, one may be warmer than the other. Usually how these things go, and we will see how these sides adjust to each other as we get ready to move over to the next point, should I say. Next time. My God, what am I saying, folks? I'll make a compilation of me not speaking correctly this stream, because I am on for one of my all-timers here. It's Fro picks up a nice kill against Cormac. EH with 1, and Billy is funding. When they get control of a point, they do a fantastic job of keeping that control. They set up really well around the point, and Billy and Devon just combining for a great number of AR kills there. They have this completely locked down. Infinity FPS completely pushed back in the spawn. But eventually the kills come in, and they come in from Cormac, who was popping off, so they got taken out there. But now the waves of kills coming in for Infinity FPS. JC with a big 2, 11 and 4, but you have EH 11 and 6 as well, being matched on the kills there. 2 fantastic performances to begin with here in what are such huge pivotal games in this season. And JC pushing in. I appreciate all the love as well in the chat, as JC trying to get through for the spawns, but is he gonna miss? Who's lying down here? They're an inch within seeing each other, but EH surely gonna pick up that kill now. Around the back, picks that up, and now the spawns try to be held by Billy's funding, but taken out from the back, and that work may have been in vain. Huge kills from the FPS side, who might be able to hold all the time, and what is a vital point. Great time for them, as Infinity sitting on the time, beginning to pull the kills back a little bit now. But I really have to bring this back to JC, who is absolutely popping off here for a side early doors. But every time it looks like FPS have a little bit more control as a whole, Billy is funding answer back with a couple of kills and a push through the front, which normally results in them getting a fair amount of time. So the trades and the back and forth will be huge in this game. The engagements are going to be super interesting, as Billy Billy is Funding have proven that they can break from the front and they can also rotate and hold a point well, but you know, Infinity FPS in what was maybe a little bit of a shaky start when it came to the hill on P1, now go back to a P1 nearly 30 points in the lead and are kind of controlling those key spots. But in saying that, Billy is Funding pick up a nice wave of kills. They get onto the point, and EH maybe trying to push out the back spawns for P2, would be thinking of those already, and rightly so, as EH just dominated in this back at the moment on a killing spree of 5. Will stay on board with him with 44 seconds and nearly double positive as well, looking to just dance around the opposition as his side, Billy is Funding, are holding this down to a T. But Infinity FPS finally get broken in for the scrap, but they will not have spawns this time around, and you could cut the tension in this game with a knife already. As Infinity FPS now move around to try and get the spawns. They are up by 15 points, but that will surely quickly be decimated here as they are completely wiped out. And you have EH once again on the point, about to go over 1 minute in hill as they have complete control of the hill. Doing a great job here, but the push again coming in from the front. I'm not even sure if the nade helped there. I don't think it did, but Mulbs now going to try and hold from the front. They do not have the spawns yet, but they are pushing in through the back. JC with a big kill on Billy, and he gets it. They should have spawns from here. Frofro could maybe do some damage from this point, but it's in a perilous position. Gets taken out. And the FPS side should be able to hold the remainder of this point and keep themselves between 30 to 35 points in the lead. And that amount of a lead is really all you need as you get into the second half of a hard point. Even if a lead is 5 or 10, 15, doesn't matter how close it was. When you hit that 250 mark, all that matters is who got there first. So Billy is Funding, regardless of how well they've been playing in areas, are going to be looking to get that gap reduced quickly, or else they're in big trouble, as Billy is holding down a key position well. They need to hold down this side, not just for this point, but for the next, but they also need to be getting on the point, because right now they don't fully have the spawns. I believe they do now, but the spawns were being a little weird for them initially. They held this point really well the first time around, and looks like they're going to be able to do so again, as the ARs are just doing great work for the Billy is Funding side. Their positional play and ability to just keep an area pinned down and pressed and suppressed with that AR is something to behold. But eventually the car blowing up might give Infinity FPS a way in, as Billy, you can see he's just so worried about that flank, realizing how important that next point is. Billy maybe over peaking there, that is a huge death, and now Infinity FPS are going to get pushed straight off onto this new point. Again, less than 30 points in the difference, but Billy is Funding about to control a power hill if they can just stave off this wave. Massive amounts of kills that need to come in here for them. Devon, he's holding the side. Going to pick up a vital one. He gets one, but is he going to look upstairs for two? He tries to, but to no avail. As now Infinity FPS getting round the back. Infinity himself on a 5 spree and 40 seconds in hill. This could be the moment where they say that we're not giving this lead up and that we're going to take it all the way. And you've got Mulbs as well with a minute in hill. And that was a vital one for Billy to hold all of, and it doesn't look like that they will be able to get any more of this unless this is a strong break from the front. Infinity FPS had the pressure on them in that hill and dealt with it well. Now the pressure's on Billy is Funding. 172 to 148 and rising. This gap may quickly become too much, as Devon plays for a few seconds of scrap, but we go over to EH, who's playing back on that P1 for what is going to be a massive moment for his side. Billy getting the kill on the hill, but ultimately getting taken out. Mulbs trying to get round the side here, and again, a hill that maybe is a little more favoring the subs is where Infinity FPS seem to be working out, because whenever they have to play an AR dominant hill, they never get majority. But then they just absolutely decimate on these hills. But in saying that, Billy is Funding as a team getting broken in late. They don't have those power positions. But we've often seen that from both of these teams in this game, that they don't necessarily hold from the front. or they don't necessarily hold from the back, should I say. It usually comes from a push where they hold from the front and they just get broken through. And this time is going to be huge. And look at what's happening in the back here. They have gotten broken around the back. It'll be 188 to probably 1880. It'll be about 180, except no, Infinity FPS did get broken in for the scrap. So just about 15 points in the difference as Billy is funding are rotated for that P2. But you can see where this pinch is coming in. They've gotten through for spawns. They make light work of that back. And that was a huge break for Infinity FPS. Now, probably going to get themselves over the 200 point mark unless Fro had anything to say, but he didn't. Big wave of kills. Billy picking up one though, and they're making this a stunted hill, and they actually got around the back. I completely missed that back push, but Devon round the back holding spawns, and if they can hold this 30, they're within touching distance of this game. It will all come down to P3 and potentially even P4 if it goes right down to the wire. And folks, I wasn't lying when I said we've a hell of a series on our hands. Just game number 1, and you can see both of these teams taking each other right down to the wire. But there can only be one winner. Both teams over the 200 point threshold. Infinity FPS will pick up the scrap. Or will they? Billy is funding. Push to break it. Maybe a risky play. How are they going to play now for spawns for P4? Because you can see Infinity FPS have it. And it is only Billy, for the side of Billy is funding, that has rotated to this point. And this is the first time that they have not been set up for a hold on this point. And could that prove detrimental as they don't have any control? It's now up to Fro who's going to try and get round the back. And they're going to have to play off this point a little bit to be able to play for that break. But that's a huge wave of kills coming in for the side of Infinity FPS, who are forcing the spawn out now for Billy is funding. So if they lock down this, they could... Can they even win it here? Maybe my math failing me. I don't think they can. It has to go to a P4, but Billy is funding nowhere near getting that broken. They have a mountain to climb from this point. They need to do what they've done so well throughout this game already and just hit through that front and try and break it with a bit of brute force. But Infinity FPS picking up a couple of vital kills. Now it could be all up to Devon, who's gotten around the back, but you have 3 players around the back for Infinity FPS. That stun with some horrid timing for Devon as Mulbs gets rotated in. 218 to 220, we go to a P4 where Cormac is now on the point. They're going to have to deal with a wave here, Infinity, but if they deal with just one wave, they should be home and dry. Infinity picking up a big 2 who's gone massive late game here, 35 and 28 with over a minute in hill. Cormac is just holding. It is Fro around the back but loses out to JC, and these are vital gunfights. Infinity FPS is winning. It's about to get mixy in that point. EH going huge. He needs his teammates' help though, and he doesn't get it. And Mulbs in the point, the last push. Do they have time? They might just about, but the push out is coming in. 247, 248, touching distance, and it's there. 250 to 223, as close as it could be, but going to the side of Infinity FPS. What a tight game 1. My god, that one. The definition of down to the wire. But Vault, on hard point at least, ultimately just about going the way of Infinity FPS, who played an absolute cracker. And folks, there you have it. Infinity FPS take map number 1, 250 to 223. And that map truly could have gone any way at any point. Ultimately, the rotations proving key at the end. A couple of vital waves of kills. Some fortunate timing, arguably, at times when they check the spawns. But also at that point in the game, you kind of know where and when you need to check. So, ultimately, you could say it's luck, but it's obviously skill. That could have been Billy Funding's game any day of the week. It just shows the levels, when you get to this level, how close it can be between these sides. And I have to say, that was terrific. So folks, what a game 1. We're just after seeing. I'm really glad you enjoyed that one, and we will be getting into game 2 probably just as soon as possible. I took you to the face cam, but the way that these guys are itching to go, I don't think there's even any point taking you here. So I'm going to take you back to the map mode screen so you can take a little look at what we're going to be playing next, which is the Protocol Search and Destroy. Protocol Search and Destroy. A really big change up from a vault, but it is a wide map to say the least in terms of the ARs being able to do what they would want to do, I would argue. You know, you get wide on that A side, wide on that B side when it comes to control reference, and your ARs can do a lot of damage, but the way that the subs can maneuver around the map, if your ARs aren't in complete control, the subs can cause absolute havoc. They can get control of top areas, they can control the underground. It's a map that really relies on team coordinations of everyone knowing what is being watched at the right time. Top house control mattering a lot. It's the subs that free up the AR positions to cause a world of hurt on that map. And ladies and gentlemen, I think it is going to be an absolute cracker. We have 42 people watching on Twitch, 50 people watching on X. Absolutely loving to see it. This is our first stream over on X. We may not do X streams super regularly, but we wanted to test out the feature. So for all of you who chose to come over and watch on X, we really do appreciate you. And we hope you're enjoying what you're seeing here, enjoying what you will get from COD Ireland. And if you want to show support, make sure to go over to our Twitch as well and follow us there, because we're on the path for affiliate there, so would be massively appreciated. You're watching a terrific game here this evening. Infinity FPS versus Billy is funding, where that map 1 went right down to the wire. We're going to have a hell of a series on our hands, and then straight afterwards we'll be going into a game 2 where Infinity FPS, in their desperate attempt to catch up in the league this season, will be playing straight away against the top team in the group, Flux Esports. Billy is funding, of course, second in that group. So arguably the two of the toughest challenges here for Infinity FPS, and so far, as I said at the beginning of the stream, they have a mountain to climb and they've taken that first step. But it truly is a marathon, not a sprint, and they have plenty of more steps to go. Really hope you will stay with us here for the journey. It is so much fun watching these teams play so far, and I don't think that fun is going to stop anytime soon, as the follows are coming in as well. We appreciate each and every one of you. The grind for affiliate is real. And yeah, gotta appreciate it. How can I not? How can I not? Protocol Search Destroy. All the teams are in. I believe the settings are set up, so we should be ready to go. Fingers crossed. Just making sure that these players know that I am actually ready on my end. They're being very nice not starting without me. You know, sometimes you have teams like to rush in and not ready, and I'm panicking, but they are letting me get this one underway, so we got to appreciate them. And ladies and gentlemen, they are ready. Here we go with map number 2, where we are moving on to a Protocol Search and Destroy. Should be a terrific map, to say the least. I mean, I say that every time, but most of the time I genuinely believe that to be true, but no more so than even what we're going to see right here, because we saw how that map 1 went. We saw between these teams it can go any which way. I just have a feeling that is going to be the same here again today, but maybe we have some S&D demons in the house. We are about to find out, as ladies and gentlemen, here we go, as we start with round number 1, starting on board with JC. Cormac is the bomb. JC up with the initial nade, and you can see it's been an underground hit here. Infinity getting that first blood. Nice first blood for them, as it looks like, are they gonna try and move this one underground? It's hard to tell. I don't believe so. It looks like they might actually be going for that A, as Fro and EH combined for a terrific wave of kills. EH trying to go for another one on Cormac, and Billy is funding with a terrific round number 1 there after getting first blooded. The setup was there, the kill was there for Infinity FPS, and then what did I say about those subs? Getting in between the lines, getting mixy, and as soon as they got underground control and decided they wanted to move up, they just made do with it, really. They did what they needed to do. You get between those lines, you can disrupt any setup on this map, which makes it an absolute nightmare if the coordination is not there. And maybe Infinity FPS being slightly colder in regards to how much they've played this season will come back to bite them on a map such as this. As ladies and gentlemen, round number 2 begins, and we have hit what I've just noticed, 500 followers over on Twitch. Massively appreciate all of you for taking us to that 500 followers mark and sitting with 50 viewers as well. Legends, the lot of yous. As JC holding the back, EH going up top. Again, a sub just getting through those lines to pick up 1. And now has an AR as well. Looking around, decides to go back down the zip. Gonna go in for the plant, it seems. As they have control of that site, Infinity FPS have a lot of work to do now. But they did actually pick up a kill. I'm only just after figuring that out. Apologies, the kill feed isn't popping up for every kill. Another COD bug. But Fro with another. EH with 1, and just like that, Cormac the last alive. As Billy is funding, take another round. And it has to be said, we're only a couple of rounds in. Long way left to go. But they're looking strong. They're looking like they're happy to play this out. I'm sure they will be continuing to try and strive forward in that fashion. Infinity FPS will be looking to answer back. Because if they get a few rounds, if they get some momentum, we could see things change as round number 3 begins. And what's going to be the push for Infinity FPS? They take the bomb, not going underground yet, whereas you see Billy is funding straight on that underground. Controlling the site, Fro, holding around while one player's rotated back. Meanwhile, Cormac just waiting for that push. As what happened last time, they do not want to get broken through. As you can see, Infinity FPS now across the map, setting up more stably. As JC watching that mid push, and it's a stalemate. First shots coming in up top, but to no avail. Devon rotates out, but the movement now coming in from Infinity and Mulbs, who are trying to get around to that B site, but little do they know they have a Billy in the back, but it doesn't matter. The kill's being picked up, but now EH answering back, who has been a menace with that sub on a 6 spree. In a little bit of trouble here now, though, trying to get away with his life and doesn't. A 2v3, but that bomb's going to need to go down. Only 20 seconds left. Fro going to check the bomb, but JC is covering, and Fro with the dolphin dive out, but only gets him so far. Now Devon the last up, who picks up 2. And now the 1v1 scenario, 35 seconds. You have about 28 seconds to hop that defuse, Devon. What is the play? JC watching the back. Devon trying to get round the back, and if he picks up this angle, he will get the spot. Oh, but JC, I believe he's moved. JC in a great spot. Devon, sure not going to spawn. He's going to go for the defuse. 15 seconds left. Does JC check? He does, and he picks up the kill. Huge round for Infinity FPS. That shouldn't have been that close. But Devon slapping 2. It ultimately not being enough. But Infinity FPS certainly had to work for that round. On the board now. It's what they needed. But they'll need to take a few more rounds before they'd want to get too confident. 2-1 here. And Billy is funding. Not looking to give Infinity FPS any more momentum. We'll be looking to do a job here. The first kill coming in from JC. That was huge. You have EH, who's once again got between the lines. Maybe a little bit of fortunate timing, but gets through for the kill. But once again, it's answered back. And Mulbs and Infinity combined for 2 kills. All of a sudden leaving Fro stranded in a 2v1. Where he has to go pick up that bomb. But even look at that map already. Infinity FPS are playing quite close to each other. Although you do have Cormac on the underground. And Fro going to try and run into him. He's going to run into Cormac. The information is there. The stun coming in. The Semtex coming in. But now virtually trapped in the underground. And Infinity FPS making light work of him then. And evening this one all up at 2-2. A confident initial start from Billy is funding. All of a sudden evened all back up here in this map, where it is currently 1-0 to Infinity FPS, who took that initial vault hardpoint just about the skin of their teeth, to say the least. But now looking to go 2-0 up in this series and getting a nice 2 rounds to potentially do so. But of course, anything can happen, as Cormac now with the bomb picking up the same position as he did before. Just on the hold. With throw round the back. And they have pushed heavily through this P2 here, as this bomb is once again going to go over to the B side. Infinity FPS, they've dropped a player. They are getting penned in here to this B site. The reads are in. Devon's going to try to pick up a kill as JC picks up one, which was huge. JC in a position to pick up another as a player is fallen off the map. And all of a sudden, it's up to Devon. Stranded. In a 3v1. Infinity FPS were first blooded. Still managing to get that bomb down, but Devon, he's picked up one. He's going to need to move quickly, and you do have the heady at the back. Cormac's on it. You've JC at the plane, or at the helicopter. They're holding key positions. Devon going to try and pick up this kill. Can't pick it up. And Infinity FPS now make it 3 rounds in a row. And that was a crucial moment for them, as they went a player down. Looked like they were boxed into this B site. But picking up the key positions, getting those vital kills, that bomb planted. And all of a sudden leaving Billy is funding floundering. 3-2 now in this map. Billy is funding picked up the 2. Now Infinity FPS have picked up the 3. Billy is funding. We talked about them not wanting to give the opposition momentum. Well, it may be too little too late for that, but can they stifle it here in what is a vital round for them? Infinity FPS sort of feeling the confidence here as you see Mulbs already getting up into a little bit more of an advanced position. Fro. Is he going to go down for the child? He's going to go for the stun check, and surely he's gotten a hit there. Didn't come up for us, but I imagine he did get that stun check, and JC would have gotten the spot. Devon with the huge first blood against Infinity. But first bloods we've seen don't count for much in the way that this map is playing out. And a heavy sort of P2 hold for the side of Billy, and EH picking up a vital kill, who's on 8 and 3, nearly making it 9, or I believe he did before getting taken out. Mulbs there for the trade, but it'll virtually be an ace. I think it will be an ace from this point here, as Mulbs doesn't check the right corner, and Billy is funding, had to play that one patient, but it paid off as they take a round back to even this one up once again. And folks, I did say that this is a series that could maybe potentially go all the way, and so far I've not been proven wrong for game number 2 for those who are waiting for that, which of course some of the players from Flux Esports and of course Infinity FPS themselves, I would say, kick the feet up, because you may have a late starter given how this series could play out, because neither one of these teams are ready to give it up here so far in front of an audience of 42 over on Twitch, 56 over on Twitter. You guys are absolute legends. There's Cormac trying to push down. Getting moved onto the bomb site. They're a player down, but they'll get the plant. I make that 2 players down. 2v3. Missing the kills here, unfortunately. I am. You can see why I'm not an observer by night. I can only do so much, folks. Cormac trying to hold one area. Interesting that they're leaving the wide angles open. Or they're leaving the center angle open, should I say. Could be a strat, as the push is going to come from the center. The nade coming in. It would... Oh, great nade. That could maybe do something here. Mulbs has picked up 2. He can't get the 3rd, though. Oh, that was close. As Mulbs played that to perfection. The nade causing a lot of damage. 2 quick kills being picked up, but just a little bit too much damage being inflicted, which allowed that kill to come in and that bomb to be defused. But almost a brilliantly played 3v1 in that scenario, where they virtually corralled them in through that outside push, holding them in for from both sides, penning them in, and it nearly worked to a T. But credit to Billy is funding. They managed to survive. And once again, back in the lead again, folks. One of the many lies Codcaster will tell you, and did tell you right there, was that Infinity FPS won that round. But they're lying. They're lying to you. Don't believe them. Codcaster lies. Get that trending on Twitter, folks. JC, or X, I should say, now that I'm streaming on X. I need to stop saying the T word. Musk will hate me. As JC holding the wide angle. Billy and EH gonna go for those picks. Infinity taking 2 of them out. Rapidly. Massive 2 for Infinity FPS. As it is the man it's named after, Infinity, picking up the beautiful 2-piece, which has left Billy as funding floundering in regards to this push. As Mulbs picks up another. Fro the last alive and quickly being taken out. What a terrific round from Infinity FPS, folks. An absolute masterclass on display there for that round. Evening up this map once again, which is so poised to go all the way. Truly is crazy. Onwards we go to round number 9. Infinity with the early nades not really hitting. Fro has gone low. Will he try and get through, or is he just going to go for the hold? Billy with the first blood. And Mulbs holding an angle. Just waiting. They're a man down. They have to get the plant. They aren't in a good position here, Infinity FPS, in what is a huge round. Cormac just holding the house. They're just desperate for this pick, but Billy is funding. They're not going to give it here in this scenario. And rightly so. JC waiting for the push. It's not coming. Billy is funding. The one thing they seem to have learned throughout this map is to play patiently. And that is a strategy that is working immaculately well for them. Mulbs with another. Making it a 3v3. But they have to move very, very quickly here. Cormac with the bomb. Looking like he's going to go for that A. They're going to get pushed down onto that point. Or B, should I? No, wait, A. I meant A. But they're going around the back. What are they doing? They don't have time for the plant. Are they going for the kills? Well, it's not going to happen in Infinity FPS. Allowing the clock to run down in the end up, and given how the standard of this game, one of the more bizarre rounds that you will see. Sitting inside the helicopter. Getting the job done. And now Billy is funding just one round off, evening up this series. Can they do it? JC with the watch. It's a very quick push underground by the looks of it. EH trying to get Mixie off the bat. But Cormac picks up one. Mulbs picks up the other. And the aggression once again coming from Billy is funding, and once again proving unsuccessful. As now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going to a round number 11. And we did say about the aggression not really working on this map for them, but they tried to bring it back out there in full force, and they got completely shut down. And now we go on to a huge round 11. On board with JC. Once again, it's a defensive round for Infinity FPS. The bomb being taken into the house. Is it slower or is it more aggressive? It looks like it's going to be more aggressive as Devin is pushed up, but JC is lying in wait. Huge first blood for JC. Mulbs with another. Fro with one though. Now a 2v3. That was a huge kill. Massive moment. 4v2. It's not looking good. 3v2 is doable. And he hates picking up another. Now 2v2 in this round 11 as JC rotates to that back spawn. Holding for the B push. Cormac playing underground. It's up to Billy's funding to get this plant. A bomb site each being watched. And EH looking like he's going to try and target this B. The slides are coming down. JC. Oh, is he going to get the worst timing possible? No, he's gotten the spots, but does he have the shots? Fro. Going to check inside. He's going to get immaculate timing. And now, a 2v1. JC, last alive. That bomb is now being rotated down to A. JC is getting there as fast as he can. He realizes that he's going to have to try and get this pick. He may get the timing. He goes for the check. He's just going to hold. Maybe a bit of unfortunate timing. He picks up one, but he doesn't check the right place. And just like that, Billy is funding come away with a huge map to tie this series up at 1 apiece. That was insane. If he looked the right way, he might have had the kill, but he had a 50-50 guess at that point, and it just wasn't the right one. As Billy is funding take map number 2. And folks, you can see it on your screens. 250 to 223 map number 1. All the way to a 2v1 round 11 with map number 2. This series will not let up. What an immaculate performance from both of these teams. Giving us one that looks like it could very much go all the way. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get prepped for map 3. We're going to get this moving as we return to Vault. Don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 3 is about to get underway as we return to Vault for a little bit of control. Both of these teams tied up at 1 apiece, taking each other right down to the wire twice. They'll be looking to take control of this series, but will they be able to do so right here? Or could we have one that once again looks like it'll go either way? Best of luck to both of these teams as we enter round number 1. And we will start on board with Billy. What is the play on this control? Billy is funding, starting with the defensive side. EH picking up the first blood. Devon with another. Infinity picking up that nade kill though. And JC actually, I believe, getting that killer. Was it Infinity? I'm not too sure, but regardless, Infinity FPS answer back with a wave, and then Billy answer back with a wave. Very much a tit for tat checkerboard to kill feed affair to begin with on this round number 1, as Infinity looking to get around the side, control the spawns, and it looks like they're going to go for a bit of a kill wave here. As Cormac with a big 2, and Infinity going to try and pick up 1, and he does. They are trying to corral Billy is funding into their spawn, herding them like cosmic lambs to the slaughter, it seems, as the kill feed pink, but then done out by the blue of Billy as he picks up a kill, and now they'll be able to get pushed out, but not before that A point gets taken. And now pushing out for a nice wave of kills, getting a 3, but JC good answer back with 2. At least Billy is funding, regaining some map control, but quickly done out by Infinity FPS, who I have to say are playing terrifically so far. But even though they're getting a nice wave of kills, every time they get a 3, or every time any side gets a 2, a 3, it's answered back with a 2 or a 3. As you can see by that lives remaining, 19 to 17. Make that 18 to 16 now as we go towards this B point. Plenty of time and lives left to do damage. For Billy is funding, they don't want to drop any more and lose any more control of this map, because they have struggled to actually gain a little bit of map presence here all in all, while they have picked up the kills. As Fro getting a massive one there to give them themselves the number advantage of B, get it cleared out and give them a chance to hold on and run down this clock. 14 to 13 now, getting a little bit tighter here. As once again we see that checkerboard a kill feed, and folks, these teams, this series is so evenly poised. Has to be one of the most even games we have seen so far in COD Ireland. Neither team wants to give an edge really, but you do have JC who's absolutely popping off again. 8 and 3. And the ARs doing the Lord's work here, it seems, as Cormac now trying to get pushed up. 9 to 8, 30 seconds left. Infinity FPS are running out of time and running out of lives. But both sides could say the same. This is a huge wave of kills now. EH just delaying, and that was brilliant from EH. Slide left, slide to the right, crisscross, get taken out. As it's now 5v7, make that 4v7. 13 seconds left of this, but that does stop as Mulb's gonna try and do some damage here in this point, but Infinity FPS, they've lost lives, they've lost the map control, and just like that, they have lost the round. Billy is funding, getting the job done on defense, just as I believe it was only 3 ticks in the end up. So that B point actually not being touched, and even though Infinity FPS having a lot of map control and picking up strong waves of kills at times, only having 3 ticks to show for it on an offense isn't anything to write home about whatsoever. So overall, I think Billy is funding will be happy with how that round was played out. As we now move quickly onto round number 2. Now Infinity FPS in the defense, Billy with the offense. Huge round for them. Getting that offensive round can be key on a control. As Devon currently 8 and 4, double positive. Slay Queen. As it gets pushed straight onto B, and B is the early play, and they have that stack. Infinity FPS have completely misread this. They're going to lose 1 tick. They're surely going to lose another. As Cormac though gets in with a huge 2, but EH with 1, and is that second tick gone? It is! And this play was brilliant from Billy is funding. They played for the A, but they went low through vault straight to B. They're getting control of the spawn. A bit of unfortunate timing for Fro. As Mulbs picks up 1. He nearly picks up 2, but Devon gets the kill. They have control of that point, but they don't have it done. They don't have it done. Devon needs to get rotated back onto the point, but they've picked up a wave of kills. And just like that, they've got B point secured, quickly working on A. That was a huge strategy from Billy is funding that has paid off massively. could be the key factor in them taking this map as they now look to make light work of A. Meanwhile, 21v22, one tick on already at A. Infinity FPS are trying to slow this bleed here on vault control, but it looks to no avail as every time they pick up one or two, it's just answered straight back. No map presence here whatsoever on the defense. As Fro just dancing around this A, waiting to get on the point, waiting for his teammates, and has got his teammates picking up once again wide positions. Bit of unfortunate timing there for Billy not to see Cormac, but he'll get round the back and see him now. Cormac and Moles picking up two. Billy, oh Billy, only can be described as maybe going for the bit of the ego hip fire, or maybe there's something not going right there, because that kill shouldn't have happened. Devon ultimately getting around the back and taking out Cormac as they now collapse in on the site. It's all up to Mulbs, who will pick up one, not going to pick up the two. That A site gets taken quick. And a little bit of messing about there for Billy is funding, but ultimately securing that A offense with style and putting themselves in a great position to come away with this map number 3. And the way that they're playing this, they may have just found their stride. And that map number 4, considering how mixy that will be, the Skyline hardpoint, if you're playing against a team who can turn it on as quickly as Billy is funding can, that's not a position you want to be in. So Infinity FPS have their work cut out for them here. Can they pull it back? Or Billy going to take us to what could be a series point on map 4, the defense coming in for them, but JC with the initial early kill, who still has quite a strong-ish KD for the Infinity FPS side. Bottom right is never wrong. 13 and 9. Eventually getting taken out though from the wide areas, and they just can't set themselves up in the right positions here on control. Maybe a map that's not been practiced as much. It just isn't working out for them. As Cormac's so cracked, he takes out his own teammate. 11 and 14. Make that 12 if we could count the team kill. We should count team kills here in COD Ireland. If you ever want a stat pad, just wipe your squad. As Infinity picks up a nice 2. 13 to 13. Streak of 3. EH being pushed into spawn. And this is a good position now that they're holding, as they're trying to break the top here, and they very well could. But Infinity is holding that immaculately well. A wave of kills now for Infinity FPS means that they are taking B and A. They don't get that B tick done though, and it is going to be up to JC to try and get it done. 2 ticks gone at B. I believe that second tick went. Did that second tick go? I don't know. Infinity FPS still trying to play his position. EH takes him out. And now that tick is gone. It hadn't gone, but it has. 1 down at A, 2 at B. That's a great position to be in. But with neither done, the clock's running down. But that's a massive wave of kills. They can go straight for this B. Look at the map. They're all coming off spawn. JC holding. Infinity holding. That B cap is in. And now, all of a sudden, they're way up and live. They just have to play this A point. And in a map that looked all but done, it's just gotten super interesting again. As Infinity holding for the push, taking out Billy. Mulbs taking out Devon, but EH pushing in, but quickly taken out by JC. Infinity have just flicked a switch as a team, and they are out for blood. 14 and 12, 16 and 12, 21 and 15. And then Cormac, as they try to just sit and capture this point. 2.5 ticks gone and counting, the lives decimated. 14 to 14. Surely that lives count is going to make it nigh on impossible from here. They're mounting one last defense, getting that tick down, but a wave of 2 kills. I would say I've seen crazier things, but I definitely haven't. This is now 11v3. Make that 11v2. Infinity FPS are going to get these lives done. And folks, what have we just seen from this map that looked to already be written? Fro just going to stand and accept his fate, as Infinity FPS give themselves a fighting chance, taking a great round kills wise, and maybe finding their stride just in time to save this map. But Billy is funding. Did they take their foot off the gas pedal a touch? Could we see them even this one up or lock it in? Let me know, folks, in the chat what you think's going to happen, who you think's going to come out on top. It's anyone's game as we commence round number 4. JC with the nade over top, going to try and get that triple through the mid. Doesn't happen. Billy is funding. They're replicating the strat from before, and it has not been read. Infinity FPS asleep at the wheel, perhaps. There is Mulb's getting a big kill though, but Fro getting another, and 2 ticks gone already at B. That's a great. Not even the 2. They didn't get him. JC and Infinity getting a huge wave of kills, and they're going to get that down to 1 tick. And folks, that could be huge. That could be absolutely massive. 25v25, only 1 tick gone at B, and Billy is funding. They are going to have to play the reset, but they still have it wide open over at that B as they get another 2 stacked on. But Cormac going huge, the car blowing up as Infinity throws that nade. And now the rotation over to A, but Billy is funding do a great job of stretching the opposition on their offensive play and control here, as it's always just left to right, keeping them guessing. A 2 waves of push to B, now capped off with a push to A, means that they're at least catching them off guard and stacking a tick or 2 at a time. But now Infinity FPS have got a wave of kills, and they seemingly have a little bit of map control towards the mid, so maybe could do something. But in saying that, Billy is funding. They are so sneaky the way that they're getting around this map. They are using that underground vault to perfection as they are now back on B. And just like that, with that wave of kills, narrowly getting Infinity FPS pushed back in their spawn, but Infinity picking up what was a massive kill. He's going to once again clear this B. That A looks all but done as they're going to lock that in. 2 ticks to go over at B. Plenty of time to do it, but they do not have plenty of lives. 3 lives in the difference. Make that 2, 16 to 14. They do not want that to drop anymore. Infinity 29 and 19. Make that 20. He wasn't a 5 streak. Ultimately getting taken out. And he is pulling his socks up for his side at the moment. But for them, for Infinity FPS, they won't be happy with how much Billy is funding is actually getting close to these points and not being able to finish the kills there. Infinity's done a great job of staying alive, trying to do damage with the pistol, eventually getting taken out. Now JC has to go huge up top, but he gets ripped. Billy is funding, strong positions, stacked on the point, wave of kills, and Bob is your uncle. As Billy is funding, are going to take map number 3, 3-1. And while there were some question marks there for a second, they ultimately came through. And Billy is funding. It has to be said, play an incredibly strong offense on a vault control. Ducking and diving, bipping and bopping, weaving and heaving. As now, just like that, they go 2-1 up in this series. And they are in a strong position from here. Whew, ladies and gentlemen, if anyone is just tuning in to this Twitch where we have over 40 people watching what's taking place here, to clear you up to what's been going on, Infinity FPS, catching up on games, have a double feature here on stream tonight, are playing the second best team in the league so far in this group, and will be going on to play the top team straight after this. The first map went down to the wire, the second map went down to the wire. Billy is funding, despite a couple of hiccups, established a certain amount of dominance on that vault control, and we're now going in to one of the mixiest map modes you will find on Black Ops 6. And mixy on Black Ops 6 is saying something, because it's a pretty mixy game as it is. But we are going to be moving over to a Skyline, a hard point, where slayers need to slay and players need to play to the tip-top best of their ability. Spawns are big, but the waves of kills are huge. And the map control just comes from who can fry the best. And of course, we will be getting that map underway in just a few moments. We do have a player who is just going through some technical difficulties, but not too many. So we'll hopefully get this one underway as soon as possible. and it has been an absolutely fantastic series so far, to say the least, folks. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, for those of you that have been here all the way, it truly has been something to admire. And what I love about this is that I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think this series is going to be given some absolute heaters right till the very death. But will the death of it be this map number 4? That's the million-dollar question. We don't know. It's very hard to tell. Incredibly hard. But of course, we'll try our best to kind of guess a little bit. It's very tough to guess in these scenarios. I mean, wouldn't you agree? Am I wrong in saying that? Because, I mean, if you're to go by how the maps have played, if you're to go by how map 3 is played, you do have Billy is funding kind of on top at the moment. It's been tight all round, but they deserve what they've gotten. This very easily could have been the same score lines, but a 3-0. But in saying that, except for that vault control, we could also have seen Infinity FPS very easily go 2-1 up in this series. So in terms of reading who's dominant, you can only go off what you've seen previous. And while Billy is funding were getting mixy on that map number 3, so were Infinity FPS, and we're going into an incredibly mixy map. And Billy is funding, yes, they did play better map control, I believe, on that vault. And even on the hardpoint as well. There were times where it felt like they controlled the map better. But in Skyline hardpoint, the control doesn't, I feel like it doesn't come as much in your positioning. Let me take you to the screen while I talk to you for a second while we get ready, okay? Skyline hardpoint, the control of that map comes from slaying out. Granted, you can get the spawns. It can give you a certain level of control. All right, you can hold a certain area. That gives you a certain level of control. But most maps, you would say spawns are most important. Where you watch from power positions is most important. And then playing out to get kills. If you were to say on a lot of maps and a lot of CODs, you would play it in that order, because you would think spawns, unless you're getting completely slayed out, would win you the games. But on a Skyline hardpoint, it's almost the power positions that are more important, right? I mean, how often have we seen a P4 push, a P3 push, completely annihilated by someone just sitting around P1, just holding the width of the lanes through the middle of the map? That does astronomical damage to teams. So if you're a team who's feeling like they can slay out, but more importantly knows where to sit with those power positions, it doesn't matter how the rest of the series is gone, you can do a severe amount of damage. You're the side of Infinity FPS. You've been picking up the kills. Billy is funding, they like their map controls, they play the spawns. They may play the spawns, but if you get the kills, you push up into the right positions, you might lose out on that 20-30 seconds of the previous hill, but then all of a sudden you're onto a P3, you're onto a P4, you're controlling the crosses, you're picking up the kills because you can slay out yourself, and just like that, you're controlling the flow of the game. And it's not by you necessarily controlling the spawns. If you're controlling the flow of the game correctly from sitting these spots and not making sure to push up too much in the search or the chase of kills, the spawns will come as a reward for you holding those positions. So this map is really up in the air with how it could play. And folks, I'll take you back to the map mode screen, and you can take a little look there and get yourselves prepared, because we are going to be getting prepared on our end to get into this map 4, which will be beginning in just a couple of moments. So please, I insist, don't go anywhere, because this series is heating up and we have a full other one just afterwards. You won't want to miss any more of what's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Onwards to a map number 4, where we find ourselves on Skyline Hardpoint. We delved into it before. It's a mixy map. Both of these teams going to be having to bring their A game to this one. Let us know who you think will come out up on top. Billy is funding ahead 2-1. Will they be able to get it done here, or will we see a map number 5? Best of luck to both of these teams as we get loaded in to our map number 4, and we start on board with Frofro. And what is the play? The stun's coming in. The waiver kills. It's a 4 down almost instantly. Probably the quickest 4 wipe I have ever seen. But how much time will they be able to take from that? Cormac in trouble. The Codcaster's bugged again. I love it. This is great. We're back to good old number 64. Just when I thought things were fixed. But why would they be? Why would I be that hopeful? To live life in such hope. Billy with 2. And folks, you talk about a team who can slay out. This has been a demolition so far from Billy is funding, while Infinity FPS have picked up a couple of seconds. Billy are in complete control, and do I see a bit of lagging on screen? I hope that's not me. I would hate to lag out of what is going to be a huge game. As Cormac picking up 1, and folks, remember, with the Codcaster bug, the Codcaster will lie to you. The feed on the left, if JC gets a kill, it'll be Infinity. If it's Infinity, it's Mulb, so on and so forth. Cormac will be blank. But hopefully he won't be shooting blanks. The KD suggests otherwise at the moment. 2 and 4 looking to shake that up. But not on that kill. As Billy picks up 1. 7 and 3. Terrific start from him. And I believe they have decided, due to lag, to end the game. Split 25 to 25. Dead even. And you love to see it. You love to see it. Must have been dealing with a little bit of lag there, or having a technical issue, which I am sure they will be looking to sort out as soon as possible. But considering they played all the way through that P1, we're now back onto P2. I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, folks, oh, why is that not switched to that mode screen? There we go. Wrong switch. Apologies. I believe that means we start again 25 to 25, if I am not mistaken. Folks, we're going to get this sorted. We'll figure out what's going on ASAP. I actually see that a player's not here, so maybe a player lagged out. I did see things were getting laggy. So we'll sort this technical difficulty, and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. gentlemen, here we are once again restarting. I say once again restarting. We are just restarting. Map number 4. A hard restart, as has been decided by both of these teams. They were 25 apiece. They just went for the hard reset as the lag was setting in early. They were lagging all over the place. And to be fair, we did notice the lag, so it only makes sense. Start from the beginning. Ladies and gents, here we go. On board with Devon. The COD caster is actually fixed this time around, so it's going to be a lot easier for navigation purposes, at least. You love to see it. JC with the initial, Devon with the answer, and this has been way less of a wipe this time around. Checkerboard a kill feed, but ultimately JC picking up the point. Trying to hold on to the point. JC with a big 2, Mulbs with 1, and JC 4-0, holding down this point to perfection. Billy's funding will not be nearly as happy with this start, as EH picking up a huge 2 and getting round the side, trying to get through, ultimately getting taken out. And what a fantastic start. Great start here from Infinity. FPS 25-2, pushing on for the spawns and looking like that I've gotten them. And whatever happened at the beginning of this map, they certainly have woken up on this restart, as they are slaying out. It is Billy is funding chasing this game now, but Infinity trying to lock down these spawns, but will it be in vain? Devon's got him hurt. EH looking the wrong way. It's Devon that picks up the kill in the end. Throw for now on point. Double positive 6 and 3. The slow start not hampering them as they now break through from the front, get a wave of kills and hold the spawns. And as I said before, folks, before going into this one, the way this map plays, playing for the spawns isn't the top priority for a team who rotates early. It's the slaying that counts. We seed from the vault hardpoint. These teams, they have the capability of pushing from the front even in the more dire situations. So on a map that rewards pushing from the front, this is going to be mixy as we go on to point 3 and it's all evened up, but Billy is funding now, taking the lead 42-45. And a nice wave of kills, but it is still Billy on the point, racking up that time. He picks up a big kill against Cormac, knows exactly where to look, but doesn't look there long enough. As Infinity picks up the kill before he gets taken out, the point has now been left open. A wave of kills for both sides, but Billy is funding, trying to push through the front of the point, and they're going to do so. And will maybe look to continue to push through for these spawns, as the rotation onto next point can be big. They have control of this side now, and they do have the spawns flipped. Billy wasn't aware, and because of that, they are going to lose the scrap. 30 points in the difference as the rotations come on to P number 4. Infinity FPS are holding. Cormac turning around, not picking that one up. Billy getting taken out by Infinity. 53-76. Billy in the lead. As Devon trying to pick up that kill, eventually does. Big kill, keeping them off this point. Again, that push from the front. I've mentioned it so many times already, and I will continue to do so. It's proving to be vital. Devon picking up 1. Devon not being able to pick up that kill. Infinity in a good position here to hold this scrap, and this hard point looks like it's going to be another absolute bang out, as only just over 20 points in the difference by the end of this point, probably 30 if even, as we will go back to P number 1. Big kill from Mulbs. He knows exactly where to look, but so does Devon, who picks up the kill. Trying to get turned on to the point. Not happening. JC and Cormac with a nice wave. JC once again having a terrific game. 15-9, has been a strong player for his side. But But folks, you're going to have to let me know. I know it's not over yet, but who do you think has been your player of the series? Because there is some strong names who've given some good games here. Mulbs trying to get pushed out. EH getting taken out. But Devon, or I believe it may have been Frofro actually picked that up. But Devon's been getting some very important shots in the people from power positions, ultimately losing his life there. But Billy is funding in the head now by a fair bit, continuing to extend it, and you had JC trying to play the spawns, but in vain. Mulbs Infinity for 2. EH picking up Cormac, Mulbs in, getting the clear. And this is spawns for Infinity FPS, but it's how they hold them. That's some terrible timing, and Devon's going to pick up that kill. Anyway, Frofro and Devon are going to be able to combine to completely squeeze those spawns out and now fall onto the point, but not picking up the kills. But EH now pushing from the front. Again, a sub player who's trying to get in between the lines and do some damage, and sometimes does so well, but not getting enough there. Infinity FPS holding this point. 104 to 129. Cormac on the hold. The push coming in. Billy trying to get round the side. Gonna get taken out. Devon picks up 1, but the rotation now. They are falling back onto P3. As Infinity FPS still chasing this game. But Billy is funding. If they keep this up, they will take this series 3-1 in what has been an absolute nail-biter. EH with 1, EH with 2. He's a bullet left in the chamber, but it won't matter. He gets taken out by Cormac, who now is going to rotate towards the point. But folks, this is where the game can get away from you. It's been tight, 20-30 points, but now Billy is funding. They have good control. They have P3 and they have P4 spawns, and they are getting the waves of kills. Frofro on a 3. Billy was on a 5 before being taken out, and they have locked this one down quite well as we go into the second half of this hard point. 170 to 116 and counting. Infinity FPS now in huge trouble. They need to regain now. It's all about that slay out, but it's hard to slay out when you have Frofro absolutely popping off on the point. 23 to 17 getting taken out. Mulbs and JC with 2. They're going to get that scrap, but 60 points behind now. Another solid 30 or 40 from Billy is funding leaves this game nigh on impossible to regain for Infinity FPS. So it's do or die in this point. But in saying that, it's all up to Infinity FPS at the back. He's going to get 1, but he gets traded by Devon, who re-wraps around that either mid or top. And now Billy is funding. Should have a clean hold unless the push from front reigns true. Mulbs and Infinity, those are a big 2. Billy's funding could get over the 200 point mark, but barely. Mulbs shaky shots. As Cormac now going to come down, pick up 1. Doesn't get the 2 though, but JC has picked up 2 in the back. JC desperately trying to play his life. 125 to 202. Billy is funding. They're holding from the front. They're going to get pushed out. And those are the spawns gone once again as Infinity FPS. Sitting on the point now with Infinity quickly taken out though, and Billy is funding. Looking like they're going to be able to do the job here. A lot of 2-3s or 3-1s on the kills. Just giving them enough of a life advantage to take control of these points. And as we go back to P1 once again for the last time, it looks like Billy is funding have done the job now. Just under 100 points in the lead. They have clutched up. Infinity FPS, if they want to take this to a map 5, they have to play perfect hardpoint from here on in a map that is incredibly hard to do so. Billy is funding back on the point. EH with the hold, playing his life. 15 points in it, 100 points in the lead. Dare I say, it's all but over. They've got the hold. Infinity going for the kill. Infinity for 2. Not for the 3 though. But they are going to be able to get the scrap. Reducing the 100 point deficit ever so slightly. But they do not have the spawns. And now the rotation's coming in. You can see where the hold is coming from. And they're just sitting. They realize it's all but over. Ladies and gentlemen, 1-5 to 150. Infinity FPS lose against Billy is Funding. 3-1 in the series. 150 to 152 if I remember correctly. I have a head like a sieve when I cast, folks. I do apologize. So I will put that in on here. 158. It was 158. My apologies. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Your winners of this series. Billy is Funding. They take that one. 250 to 158. An immaculate series to say the least. That was nail-bitingly close until the end of that map where Billy is Funding locked in and got the job done. What a game we have just witnessed. Whew. Man, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you over really quick. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed that game. It was absolutely brilliant. Infinity FPS in the double feature of the night, playing against the second top team in Group A of Division 1 and the top team next. They have, unfortunately for them, not won that game 1, moving on to a game 2 against arguably an even tougher opposition. It is going to be a very tough night for them, but they have plenty of games left to play, and they've gotten their games after tonight out of the way against the top teams, arguably in the whole division, in the whole of COD Ireland. So ultimately, they can keep their heads held high and know if they can keep these performances up against a lot of the other teams in this division, they will at the very least make their way through the playoffs. But folks, they still have another game where they could do the damage. Don't go anywhere, because we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes where we are going to see Infinity FPS facing off once again, but this time against Flux Esports. We'll see you then, folks. We'll be back in a few. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? Welcome back. We have just seen an incredible game one. I mean, it truly was an amazing game one that went right down to the wire between Infinity FPS and Billy is Funding. And I mean, that game really could have gone either way. Infinity FPS taking that map one, only about 25 points in the difference. Going into map number 2, it went down to a 2v1 on round 11, going to the way of Billy is Funding. And from there, Billy is Funding began to turn up the gears a little bit, taking a control 3-1 due to some immaculate offensive play. And then that hard point being neck and neck till about halfway, until Billy is Funding once again managing to switch gears a little bit, go up over 100 points and take the win there. Infinity FPS going into this evening trying to catch up on games, decided to take on the top 2 teams currently in the Group A of the division, arguably the entire division, and they took their chances against the second best team there, Billy is Funding, and weren't able to come out on top, and now have to play the top team, Flux Esports, who are currently flawless, absolutely plowing through their games here and looking like potential contenders to win it all. Could Infinity FPS cause an upset here? It is on the cards, but they have a lot of work ahead of them. If they end this night with a loss, they will have only 1 win out of 3 games. But knowing that they've gotten a lot of their games out of the way early on against the top teams may give them hope that they can pick up points throughout the rest of the season against the lower teams and try and get themselves into a playoff place, because we're looking at a team here that I think could be reaching a semi-final, a winners, potentially losers final. Grand final, it's up for debate. We have some strong teams. You have some really strong teams over in Group B. I mean, you've got like Red Hots, you've got Fresh Milk, you've got on this side, you've got Flux, and you've got Billy is Funding. You've got about 6 really top teams here in the Division 1 that are all contenders to come away with that top spot and that prize pool. So it really is all on the line. I'm really excited to get into this game, and I hope y'all will enjoy it. We are going to be going through the maps that we're going to be seeing in this series, and then from there we are going to be waiting just a little bit to get these teams in lobby and ready to go. They are starting to get the lobbies together, so we are moving along. But let me show you the maps and modes that we're going to be playing in this series. Starting with map number 1, it's no different than before. We go into a vault hardpoint, and Infinity FPS will be feeling strong after how they played this last, managed to come away with the win against Billy is Funding on this map and mode. But they are going up against some of the strongest opposition they'll probably ever go against this season, so they will need to hit a little bit of a regain and try and boost those stats just a little bit, because with the last series not going their way, could have potentially have hurt the confidence, especially considering how they played on this map in Control. But moving on to map number 2, and ladies and gentlemen, I never see this. I won't know what I'm looking at. A red card search and destroy. An absolute sort of... I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever casted a red card. Maybe once. Maybe once, but it's going to be a new experience, and I cannot wait to share it with y'all. This map will be interesting. A complete switch up from Vault. Who's going to make it their map? We will find out when we get there, but this one truly could be anyone's. An absolute wild card thrown into the mix. And of course, when we return to Vault, it will be on Control for map number 3. The Control not going the way for Infinity FPS the last time they played in that last game, needing to go back to the drawing board just a little bit. But of course, they could do a job. It's possible. But as I said, they just have the work cut out for them against the top opposition, who's going to be feeling themselves in every single map and mode that they play without a shadow of a doubt. And then moving on to map number 4, if we get there, we will be on Protocol for a hardpoint. If we get this far, this feels like a map where Flux could do a lot of damage. Again, as I said before, a map that I think really relies on the coordination between your teammates in regards to who's watching where, what lanes are covered, Those ARs can do a lot of damage if the subs give them room to do so, and if your coordination isn't there, you can find yourself in serious trouble. And to be honest, I don't think there's any team that's gelling better this season than Flux Esports, so this could be a map that they love. And if we go all the way in this game 2 of this evening, folks, we will find ourselves back on Vault for the final time for a search and destroy. A potential triple Vault on the cards here in this card for this evening. And once it gets to this point, it truly could be anyone's game, because the Vault will have to go either which way. If a team wins 2 of the Vaults, I'm sure they'll be thinking they can win the 3rd. But given how this series could be, I wonder if it's going to be that mixy. And folks, there you have it. That is your maps and modes for the upcoming game. Infinity FPS taking on Flux Esports, Week 3, Division 1 Group B of the COD Ireland League. The Season 1 has been going immaculately well so far. The players have been loving it. The teams have been thriving. And the community has been loving it. Y'all coming in, checking these streams out, it has meant a lot. And as we get into the playoffs in the new year, that is when things are going to heat up even more. And by then, the Season 2 announcement will have already come out. So you will be able to see these teams go up against each other, potentially again, if they decide to take part in the next season. And I'm sure these teams may run into each other again in the playoffs as well. So for those of you who do not know the structure, folks, we are completing the group stage of the league at the end of week 4, which I believe will be Sunday the 22nd, where we will go on a Christmas break for the players to take a breather, reset and regain, where they will come back around the 4th or 3rd of January to finish off the season in the playoffs, where we will run the playoffs over the course of a week. Should be really, really fun. Absolutely cannot wait to get into that. But more pressingly, cannot wait to get into this game. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few as we get on with the setup for this game. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, any moment now, we will be getting underway with game number 1. Absolutely cannot wait for this one. Will be an absolute heater. Infinity FPS needing to hit that regain. And they'll be trying to begin to do so, at least, on the map that they've done a seriously good job on to begin with in their first game of the evening. Best of luck to both of these teams as we get into this one. I believe we are loading in unless the lobby has bugged out. It looks to me, folks, like the lobby has bugged out. You love to see it so close to greatness. And this is what happens. Or have we? It says it's starting, but it doesn't look right to me. The only player who managed to stay in is JC. You love to see it. You love to see it, folks. Technical difficulties, always the bane of the existence of the glorious COD caster, but not to worry, we'll be getting back into this one rapid. These boys know what they're doing. They'll get the setup going, folks. We can only apologize for the delay in this one. That game number 1 ran major overtime in one that was maybe closer than people had suspected. And of course, Infinity FPS will be hoping they can keep this one as close, as they're going to be going into a game against a team who is currently flawless so far in the division. I actually believe, if I'm not mistaken, I will check here on my end, as it's not completely accurate to show now. I believe they haven't dropped a map yet, Flux Esports. They have not dropped a map in the division. Absolute powerhouses. Can they be stopped? Could Infinity FPS be the ones to stop them? We could actually maybe have a quick look over here. Folks, don't go anywhere. We're getting set up. We're getting ready to go quick. It'll just be a few moments. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Fingers crossed for no bugs this time around, as we once again try to get into map number 1 for a little bit of vault hard point. Should be an absolute heater, and best of luck to both of these teams, but luck won't come into it at this level. It won't be luck, it'll be down to skill. But who has more skill to see them through the day, or at least through this map? Number one, is it going to be Flux Esports or our Infinity FPS? Going to cause an upset on map number one. Best of luck to both of these teams, as here we go on board, beginning with Infinity on the side of Infinity FPS. How's your touch? How's your nerve? Where is he pushing? The stun straight up top. Lampy going for the push. Lampy not going to get the kill. Infinity held his ground well with a nade from Murphy. A timed push. Time to perfection there for the side of Flux. Salty now sitting on the point. Nice initial hold. Infinity trying to break. A little bit of lagginess there for JC. I wonder if he's the only one perhaps suffering a little bit as Salty picks up one. And lagginess across the board here. God, I hope it's not me. As Flux Esports pick up a nice wave of kills. And they are so far holding solid. But the lagging is real. I do wonder if they're going to go for the reset here like we did see before. Maybe an issue with the servers. Wouldn't be surprising. The updates that they make to this game never fail to amaze me in terms of the issues that they can cause. But fingers crossed that we don't get locked out of the game at least and it still goes. Because we have had that happen before on stream. Of course, we'll touch wood and hope that is not a reality. 51-1. A really solid hold here from Flux Esports. Virtually perfect as Infinity FPS are struggling to get a foot in the door. No one managing to get above a kill except Infinity, but now JC getting his second on the board, but quickly traded out as Flux Esports. They are really on one. Not just this game, not just this map, not just this series, but this season have been performing to absolute perfection and show no signs of slowing down. As they now try to rotate across and they have complete map control. Honestly, can't even believe what I'm seeing here. They are not giving their opposition room to breathe as Infinity sitting up top trying to hold Cormac, trying to watch the front, but they have no idea that Ben W is in fact in the back. And Ben spots Infinity, takes him out, and should be able to take Cormac out with absolute laser beams. On a 4 streak now as the game, at least on our end, continuing to be laggy. I mean, we will confer with the players to see whether or not that is in fact the case or if it's just something on my end. A bit too little too late now, I imagine, for a map reset unless the teams completely lag out. It's unfortunate that we are seeing that happen in a game of this caliber, but regardless, Infinity FPS, now with some time on the board, but they have not pushed through for this new point at all. Again, map control completely in the hands of this Flux roster, who with every game they play just seemingly going closer and closer to that grand title as such a strong roster. They just don't look like they're going to let up whatsoever as Mulbs picks up one. Trying to get the push in here. Managing to take out Ben W with the help of JC, and Mulbs going to go around the back. Murphy, weak. And Mulbs does a big job here holding this side, but he could get pinched. Ben W is there. And he's going to pick up that kill. And they're going to get into the point. Ben W, have you won that? Disgusting. As Lampy now sits on the point. I'm going to take the scrap. And so far, Infinity FPS pulls some of the score back. But complete control of this map falls onto the hands of Flux so far. How will Infinity respond? They need a better rotation. Cormac sits on the point. But again, you look at where they are. You look at how the rotators work. Flux Esports have done a phenomenal job of playing this season like a classic COD. They're slaying out where they need to, but their anchors are doing so much of the map control. It's a testament to the way that they play. I mean, are we saying at this point, folks? Let me know. Are we saying that Flux are the favorites for the Division 1? It truly feels like it's on the cards. Salty and Lampy combine for 2, make that 3 as Salty gets a second. On the side of Infinity FPS, I'm sure will be feeling salty no more than Cormac, sitting on a 2-13. A player who had some really good showings in the previous series, to where it just shows the levels of which some of these players are at. Cormac watching round the back, not able to pick that one up, and this map, it is just in danger of completely running away from Infinity FPS. It looks like it may have already, as they really can't get any control. Even when they have the spawns, they're so defensive on the spawns, they're not really able to get pushed up into positions of power, as Lampy taking names on an 8 spree, 18-7 before getting taken out. But ladies and gentlemen, it's Lampy's world. We're just all living in it as long as he lets us occupy the space. Ben W now sitting in the point. Mulbs gonna try and help with the break-in, perhaps. Murphy holding a nice angle, but that's a good wipe. The kills in the back though. And now Infinity FPS have the time, they have the scrap, but they need to play a couple of really strong hills. Looking increasingly difficult from this point. Ben W at 1. Holding now on the stairs. Rotations on lock. His aim does not move. Absolutely frying Ben W on the sticks. This guy, his aim really doesn't move, as we're going to stick on board. 24-11. Again, just shooting beamers. Oh, this is insane. This is absolute insanity. Who is this kid? The CDL's calling. 26-12. Not missing a bullet. Except there. Well, actually, I don't even, do you know what? I don't even think he missed a bullet there, which is crazy to me. But Infinity FPS get a nice wave of kills. They're going to get on that point, and all in all, they are not that far behind. A 40-point deficit. They're trying to get pushed onto new, and they have the spawns for all the slaying that Flux have done. And I mean, it's been hugely outslaying. Infinity FPS have kept in it. You have two players overperforming. Flux have Ben. Infinity FPS have Infinity. You have players underperforming in Cormac and Salty. Not to the same degree, of course. So there's very little to separate these teams. Arguably, if you get Cormac pulling up just a couple of more kills, that really changes the dynamic. But Salty with a huge 2. Now 2v2 really, as the kills bonanza, but Cormac now with a huge 2 as well. The two worst players on either side getting huge ones, but Murphy in for 1. Murphy going to get round the back, and Infinity FPS just kind of almost happy to hold from front at the moment. A good strategy really, just trying to get every second possible here. They are really just playing to soak time, as Ben W in with a 2. And no, Murph cannot call his chopper in. That is what I seen in the Twitch chat right there. Murph is not calling his chopper in. Has been 30-15, rotating back to the next point, up against Cormac. Cormac now having to deal with Murphy as well, and Salty around the back. 176 to 161. This game closer than I thought it would be, and I think closer than a lot of people thought it would be at this point, as it really has been a bizarre one to watch at times. But Infinity FPS are holding the time. We have seen Flux Esports drop maps before. It's never phased them. What could it do here? Lampy with 1. Getting taken out by JC. Infinity FPS are really locking down these trades now, as the scoreline nearly evened up. But you do see here Flux have the spawns for new, and in a good position to get a wave of kills. As they do, they get a 3, and a big 60 for either team now virtually decides this game. And Flux poised to get that full 60. The setup here is immaculate. It is up for the break, and maybe, just maybe, JC round the back could go huge. JC, he picks up 1. And very clever. Lampy straight away going for the reflank, following JC same path. JC doesn't seem to be aware of it, and Lampy played that brilliantly to hold the spawns. But meanwhile, the push came in from the front, And that back play was enough of a distraction for I completely lost train of thought. That play was enough of a distraction for Infinity FPS to make a little bit of a dent in front, and while it didn't account for much in the end up, it may just take just about enough time off Flux for them to keep themselves in this one, but they need to break this scrap. They can't let it sit. Huge kills not coming in, but the trades are there. The rotation's huge. It's Cormac and it's Salty who are up the closest for rotations, but then you can have a weird split spawn situation, which is working well for Flux's rotation onto this point. Cormac and Infinity for big kills. Infinity realizing that they need to do a strong job on the next 2 hills, so seeking to get those spawns early. It could be the play, but they do need to keep up with the kills for this to work, and that's so far not working. 226 to 185. As Flux looking to get in a position to once again get back on this hill. 40 points in the difference as we are in the death of this map number 1. Cormac on the point. Just under double neg, but nearly 2 minutes in hill. Infinity are just holding time that they really shouldn't be, but the rotation ended up just working out so well for them as it set them up in a strong position. Look at this KD, by the way. 43 and 28. Potentially on for the 50 bomb if this goes all the way. 227 to 195. We go to a P4. And it looks like this map could be decided on a P1. Maybe even a P2. Although that would be a shocker. You can see the split now. You can see where they have to defend. And you can see that Lampy is trying to move up. Is he going to get caught by Mulbs? He is. A wave of 3. But Ben with 1. Is Ben going to get the second? He is. Ben's gone huge. Ben maybe able to break the back here. He's up against JC. Ben has been the star player, but Lampy not too far behind him now. Going huge. Meanwhile, Infinity still going huge as well on that 47. JC in trouble. JC's dead. Ben has been doing some great work around the back here. 227 to 224. It's neck and neck as the break-in looks like it's coming. Infinity doing a great job of staying alive. Mulbs with 2. Mulbs needs the 3, and he gets it. But will he get the 4? He doesn't. But surely the trade comes in there, and it does. Infinity, they're going to be on the scrap. It comes down to P1. It'll all be down to P1. Flux are there at the setup. It's up to Infinity to break. 235 to 237. 1 wave of kills. Kill for a kill. Big one there, but Mulbs with another. Cormac trying to get through underneath. That's a big kill for Ben and Salty. Cormac trying to get up, and he does. He's going to pick up 1. Huge wave of kills, but it's not going to be. Flux, they're on the point, and they take it. 250 to 237, as close as it could be. Well, not as close as it could be, but as close as you'd want it to be for the neutral. In a map that looked like it was going Flux's way, it could have very quickly gone either way. But eventually, did go the way of Flux in the end. You thought that game 1 was close on the previous series. But 250 to 237. What a fantastic, absolutely fantastic map number 1. Absolutely unbelievable, folks. What a game. What a series we have on our hands. Absolutely incredible. Again, I think the players were suffering from a little bit of lag issues throughout. It did seem to even up from what we were watching at least, but of course for the players it could be completely different. But it's gotta be said, Infinity, I believe, did he finish that on 47, 48 kills? What an unbelievable performance against the top performing team in the league, to drop nearly a 50 bomb against Flux Esports. That's something to brag about, to say the least. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, what do we think of that series? I mean, that map was insane. And we are going to be getting into our map number 2 very, very shortly. I believe the teams may want to reset the server. They're still deciding whether or not they want to reset the host, so they maybe get on a different server. We will see. I think they might actually be keeping. It looks like they could be keeping. Let me see. Okay, looks like they're keeping. And folks, it looks like we're ready to go straight in. No time being wasted. You love to see it. So map number 2, we are moving over to the red card S&D. We've seen an absolute heater. Are we about to see another one? Every single game we have watched tonight has been so close. And I have a feeling that that's not going to change with this map. As Flammy says in the chat, 38 non-traded kills is outrageous for the loss. It completely is. But now map number 2 on the cards. Let's see how these teams handle it as we begin on board with Ben W. Moving around. Looks like the B hit's going to come through. As I said, folks, I believe we've only cast this map once, so I'm really excited to see how these teams decide to play out this map. Cormac defending this B. Just holding back. They got a lot of information here. Is the first blow going to come for Cormac? It does. And Infinity with the nade. Great defend from Infinity FPS. 2v4. Make it a 1v4 Lampy. Gonna have to absolutely go massive. He's good. But is he that good? How's your bottle, son? As he's just holding on the stairs, waiting. He's gonna get the spot, but not the kill. Cormac on smoke. Picking up a kill and putting Infinity FPS up 1-0. Maybe search and destroy on a weird and wacky map like Red Card is the way they're going to catch their opposition out. Flux. Maybe have they underestimated their opponents here? It is possible. It's hard to say, you know, folks, you let me know what you think. Do you think Flux have underestimated their opposition, or Infinity FPS just really taking it to them and are a quality team that we should never count out? A few maps dropped would make this series really interesting as Ben takes an initial few shots, warding off the opposition, striking fear in their hearts. As you can see, this hold very much over on that A street, but it is Infinity in a position to maybe pick up the first blood. Trying to get as advanced as possible. He won't spot Ben from there, but Murphy will spot him. First blood to Flux, a patient defense paying off. They get another 4v2, make that 4v1. The defenses looking strong for both teams as Mulbs will be left floundering, trying to play his life. He's getting chased and Salty gets taken out. Halfway to the ace. Lampy knows where he's coming from, but it doesn't matter. Mulbs with 1v2 now for the ace, but 25 seconds to do it, and they have to get the bomb plant. Flux Esports playing this clever, known to play apart from each other. Ben's got the spot. They're going to converge now, surely. Murphy going to get round the back for Mulbs, but it won't matter. The fight is won from the front, and what got maybe a little tenser again than it should have is ultimately a round that's won by Flux, and won quite well. Strong, patient, defensive effort. But it's interesting, you're even seeing in the moments where they don't play patient, where they maybe chase that kill in the 1v4, they get punished for it. So both teams in this series, you know, we're seeing that they're going to have to remain disciplined throughout. Onwards we go again, but this time I want to take us on board with Infinity. A player who slayed out with 47 kills. Map number 1, we're looking to do the damage here. Map number 2, is he going to get the spot on anyone here? Kind of rotating between the sides. Cormac with the first defense blood again. Mulbs quickly following up. Both these players having very strong starts to this search and destroy. Infinity. Moving on up. He's in a tough position there. Murphy has been covering just the right lanes at the right times. Playing so well. Map knowledge on point. But Flux now in a 2v3. We've seen a team like them get out of stickier situations, but we have two players right on top of each other. Wait, am I seeing that correctly? Was I seeing that correctly, that they're right beside each other? They are right, but yeah. But JC is completely aware. JC, not Jay-Z. God, let's not bring Jay-Z into this one, huh? We may have to actually ban people who use that username, but JC picking up a terrific kill there with the reads. Maybe just hearing him on top. I mean, did he have dead silence on? I don't know. But Infinity FPS taking another round. The defense is strong for both of these teams. It looks like it's going to be a team who breaks the offense, is a team who's going to be able to break the mold and potentially come away with this map. But of course, plenty of rounds left yet to see how this one shapes out in that regard. As JC has taken the bomb on a 2-kill streak after that last round, finally getting on the board after the round 3. Now on round 4, looking to continue to do so. But a first blood means it's now a 4v3, already in a bad position with Salty picking up 1. Murphy, once again, holding a nice lane. Ben W with another kill, making it a 4v2. JC and Cormac in difficult positions, needing to play for picks, but Flux, they won't give an edge. And Murphy, hats off to Murphy, who has just been playing so well in this search and destroy. He's picked up the right angles. He's played the bait and switches with the teammates, knowing when to peek and where. A really experienced player, just kind of showing off his skills here in the search and destroy, as Flux take another defense relatively comfortably. And if they can keep these defensive efforts up, they put themselves in a great position to come away with this map and go 2-0 up in this series. I mean, the angles that Murphy picks up, the control that he has on that weapon, I think really having a standout performance here for Flux, and just the way he's assisting his team and in every way that he plays. But of course, other players on his side also doing well. And you do have players over on the side of Infinity FPS. Cormac 4-2 has been loving these defensive rounds, picking up the first blood in both of them. Looking to do so again here as he goes to defend the similar spot. Do Flux have the answer for him now? A stun that maybe doesn't necessarily go to plan. It's getting mixy in the middle of the map though. We do have to check that out as Moles picks up 1. Ben with the quick trade. And Ben maybe going to get a bit of unfortunate timing as Cormac picks up 1. Cormac's going to get the 2 and he is having a heater. As it's up to Murphy to win the 1v3. And you're good, Murphy. But you're not that good in this instance. As Infinity FPS take another defensive round. And it really could go any which way. Just when you think Flux are looking a little bit stronger on their defensive rounds, Infinity FPS just pull it right back with a strong defensive round of their own. And now, another defense will go on board with Ben W. Flux looking to continue the way they've played these defensive efforts. Cormac did get the first blood, I believe, but it was answered back. Cormac 7-2 on a 3 streak. We will actually go on board with Cormac as they try to break into the site. Kind of the most success they've had so far. Nearly taking out Murphy, but look straight for Salty. Cormac has such a read on how Flux want to play here. Knew that the peek right was going to result in a peek left and was ready for it. All in all, Cormac seems to have their number here on this search and destroy. As he gets round the side. And he's just going to pick up that angle. This is a good hold. The slide's coming in. The trade for Murphy though. As they now have sight. In a 2v2. Murphy going to get some poor timing. But will it matter? It does. It does matter. Infinity FPS. They take an offensive round. And have they broken the seal? And put themselves in a position to come away with this map? A great plan, some great reads from Cormac. The trades were there, and Murphy ultimately left in a situation where if the timing worked out a little better, he might have given himself a winnable 1v1. But you know what, the COD gods, you know what, Search and Destroy, just that teeny tiny bit of timing and luck comes into the play. And it just didn't even up there for Flux, for Murphy, who now have to chase this game. Salty, 1 and 5, has taken the bomb. And it looks like B is on the cards. And Lampy taking out Cormac. The streak finally broken of Cormac being able to defend well at that B. And now Flux could be in. And answering offense with offense maybe could be the switch up. But you still have Murphy, who's again playing that spot for information. The flank coming in from Infinity FPS, who are going to enclose on this B site. Will they account for the anomaly of Murphy though out wide, playing so far away from the site? Murphy's not going to have the spot on who came on his left, and now it's a 3v3, but Infinity FPS, they have to get into this site quick, and JC is in trouble. He's been stunned. He gets the pistol kill though. 2v3, Salty and Ben. They've lost the B site. Infinity taking him out. It's all up to Salty. The defuse coming in. Will Salty check? He has the check, but he doesn't have the kill. He's shooting Windies, and that bomb has been defused. And Infinity FPS are just 1 round away from evening this series up and contributing to another map loss for Flux, who have only lost 3 maps so far this season. And they're flawless on their wins. A massive dent in the confidence of Flux, perhaps. It is on the cards. 5-2. Can Flux pull this back? We go on board with Cormac, the standout player for Infinity FPS. It was Infinity in the first game. Who's now actually on a 4 streak and calling the RCXD in as well. Lampy getting out of there. Where's he taking it? He's taking him to a position to get shot, but he gets the info and JC gets the first blood. Is the rotation onto A now is the question. You do have Ben W who is watching that mid. The rotation is coming in. Ben's going to have the info. And is he going to be able to pick up the kill? He is. And now Lampy moving forward. Going to try and get around the back. And he's in a great position to catch people out here as he's going to go up top. He's going to take out Infinity, and Flux have moved up well here. As Lampy playing his life, getting the kill, and Lampy playing out of his skin there, leaving Mulbs in a 1v3. And with the bomb still to plant, this offensive round not going their way, but they have another defensive round at least to work with. But Mulbs is going to take this to B. Looking to try and get it down. Surely Murphy will get the spot on this. Will he get it in time? It looks like he will. The bomb went down, but we're getting an instant defuse. And Flux pull back around. 3-5. 5-3. Flux Esports trying to claw this map back from the jaws of defeat. Infinity FPS have the power to shake this series up massively. Round number 9. On board with Murphy, who just rips Infinity. That was insane. As the push coming up onto this A site, it's going to be up to numbers 8, number 6, Mulbs and JC to defend, but they are getting pushed back quick. An aggressive play where Lampy's going to get round the site. JC has completely missed it, and Flux have turned up, but Mulbs taking him out. But the trade there for, you guessed it, Murphy, now a 3v1 with Cormac left alive and in huge trouble in the spawn. Flux, they were made to bleed, but I just egged them on, as they are in a strong position now to pull another round back. Cormac with 1. Nearly getting the oh my word, he nearly got the second, but as soon as he didn't get that finish, he mightn't have even gotten out on time, to be fair, to that window by the time the hop up came. But ultimately Murphy getting the job done. Cormac maybe, I think actually both of them suffering from a little bit of shaky shots there. Maybe the nerves just hitting a little bit as both teams are realizing what's on the cards here. Flux Esports with another round, and Flux are going to have a defense which has been proving easier for the majority of this map as we get a lovely little life flick there. Is that the Warzone camo? Ben W, you sweat. I'm jealous, but you're a sweat. Teach me how to get it. Ben W with the nade across. No hits. JC is playing wide as you can over that A to trying to catch the push, but Flux are playing super defensive and really patient. Exactly what they need to be doing here. They need Infinity FPS to run into them, take this to around 11, and Ben W with the first blood. Flux have turned up. Man advantage on the defense. It's Cormac who's going to try and get into a strong position. Is he going to get the spot on Salty? He didn't, but Salty didn't spot him. What are these peaks? The jiggle peeking. Cormac couldn't hit a bullet. Huge trouble now. He needs to get out with his life. And looks like he's going to. But the jiggle movement there just proving too much for Cormac, it seems. Time running out. They can't get through here whatsoever. As now Murphy on the late flank. Murphy often playing that deep role. Infinity with 2! How did I miss it? They're in the B side. They're going to get the plan. JC with 1. What's just happened? What did I miss? I should never observe again. Up to Murphy to rescue the 1v2 and defuse the bomb. Or CXD in. He's going to go for the chase. He doesn't get him though. He could have gone for the standing player first, but he didn't. And just like that, Infinity FPS take map number 2, 6-4. And my head's still all over the place. I don't know what we've just seen. Granted, Murphy maybe didn't want to do a lot of looking, but why did he not turn? If Murphy turns, he picks that up. And then he just takes out the guy who's already sitting. He takes out the player on the RCXD. Crazy stuff. But crazy stuff that favors Infinity FPS, who now find themselves 1-1 in this series. Ladies and gentlemen, things have just gotten interesting. Holy moly. That was a game that just went from 0 to 90 real quick, in the sense of I just can't believe I missed a 2-piece and breaking in that site. On the offense, 3 versus 4, they get in. Murphy nearly rescuing it, having such a strong performance, but ultimately just choosing the wrong person to shoot at first. But folks, I've got good news for you. These players are feeling it and they want to keep going. We go straight on to map number 3, where we are returning to Vault for the second time and potentially last time this evening, and we return to Vault for a control. That map was insane. What will this map bring? Infinity FPS, they didn't show their best performance in this map before, and I do have a feeling if we go to a protocol hardpoint, that'll be a map that favors Flux quite a lot. So a lot on the line here for Infinity FPS. Best of luck to both of these teams, as here we go. Starting on board on the offense, we're going to go with Murphy, who instantly decides to go wide, has the spot on JC, and has that first blood wrapped up in a cheeky little bow tie. But Cormac with 2 mobs at 1 is leaving Murphy stranded, and the info call means Cormac knows straight away to cut in left, and he gets a 3 off the rip, and he's on a 4, and he's on a heater, looking to continue what was a very strong performance in that search and destroy. Some great kills coming in for Infinity FPS, and Flux looking in a little bit of trouble here, but only 3 kills in the difference very early on. But they now pick up a couple of kills, and they're going to be able to find themselves back on this point. Down on lives, only by 2. Make that 1. As Flux, with a shaky start, have regained well. Now on the point, they've got control of the building. Infinity, getting round the back, doing some damage. Ben with some shots, but baited his position for Infinity. And that was a huge 2-piece. And he's now hiding. Is he going to get the pick of Murphy? He doesn't. Salty and Murphy picking up those kills, going to get back into the house. His A point, surely going to be a given in the way that it's being played, that will be taken, but how much damage will be done to the lives of Flux in the process of that? That is the big question here. Infinity getting around the side. 18v20. Infinity getting around the back. Ben W needs to go huge. He's only able to get 2, not the 3. And Infinity doing a good job of getting out with his life as well, as he's going to try and pick him up off spawn. Lampy knows where to look though, and Lampy's going to pick that up. Murphy with 1-2, and turning then as well, Ben to help take out Mubs with Salty. But again, they're just not getting the point. The trades are always there for Infinity FPS. They're finally on. They finally got on it. 1 minute 15 to play with. 13v14 lives very much could come into play here. JC with 1. How do they set up on this defense? JC and Mubs. Mubs with another. Mubs popping off. Infinity FPS are really sweating this defense out. And the defense arguably the easier side, so they absolutely have to, but one thing is for certain, they can't let their lives dwindle at this point. Cormac with 1. And Mubs getting pushed up as well. Mubs has been a roaming demon so far. 8v10. Flux quickly running out of lives, quickly running out of time, but they're going to get pushed up. If anything, Mubs is really out of position here because they're going to get outnumbered. Infinity, he's in trouble. Mubs completely missing the spawners. It's like they're a man down here at the moment. He's not even going to catch Ben W, unless he's simply playing to spawn them out towards P2, which is the option. But now, people on the point. Cormac with 1. Mubs baited out his position, not picking up the kill. JC with 1, 3v8. Can they take him off before the tick? They're going to go for it, and they do. And Infinity FPS take that defensive round. And Flux only getting 3 ticks on that A. Not finishing that tick on B. It was close, but it wasn't there. And it was a round they had to win, Infinity FPS, and won it they did. A series that could still go either way, continuing to get even more interesting. And onwards we go. Round number 2. Lampy trying to defend this A. Lampy so far playing this well. He just is still playing his life here. You gotta respect it. Lampy's still alive here, which is absolutely crazy. 28 versus 24. Flux have played this defense perfectly. Lampy on smoke. 12 and 7 on a 4 streak, eventually going to get taken out as Infinity FPS need to come at this one differently. 26 versus 22, not even an essence of a tick anywhere till just now as they hop on A. Mubs waiting to get on this B, and he's going to get 1, he's not going to get 2, the timing not there for him. Murphy going to help Lampy. Lampy going to take out Infinity, and 1 tick gone a day, potentially another on its way. Big kills, and Infinity FPS once again have done a great job of pulling themselves back from a situation where it seems like it's going to be really tough. They are stacked on this A, practically a given. The knife kill coming in for Ben. An interesting play to say the least, and they actually get the A point cleared. I did not see that coming. That is huge. 2 ticks versus 3. That will be massive in the context of this game as Ben W goes huge. 15 seconds left. Ben W with a massive 2. He's going to get taken out from top. But Lampy with 1. Lampy going to go top now to take out Infinity. He doesn't though. It's Cormac, excuse me, on the point. Salty with 2. Is that going to be enough? 8 seconds left. 14 v 10. Make that 13. JC, huge 2 on the A point, and it's capped. And another kill coming in. Infinity helping out. That was close, but they got the cap. Even on ticks. 11 v 10. They're going to try for a B. Even to get 1 tick will give them the advantage. The nade going in. They realize how important the stack is. And folks, they get the tick. Now ahead on 4. Going to try and make it 5. Could they potentially take the round? Lampy and Ben W with a big 2. Ben W getting another. Did that second tick go through a B? It's a big question. I can't tell. I'm not sure if it did. 10 v 5. Mulbs underground, waiting for his opportunity. He's got the timing on Murphy, and he picks up 1. Going to play his life. 9 v 4. Infinity have to play this perfectly. He's going to pick up Lampy, but Ben there at 1. And I believe it is 2 ticks gone at B. Salty with another. Flux. Looking like they are about to win this defensive round, and they do. But at what cost? How many ticks gone? I believe it is 5 ticks to 3 in favor of Infinity FPS. And on a vault control, those defenses are important. Well, that could be huge. Lampy was having a great start to the beginning of that map and arguably contributed, or not arguably, absolutely did contribute to that being as close as it was. And now Flux, if they can win an offensive round here, they're in a really, really strong position. They'll be up on ticks. But I wonder if they do win it. It is just a case of how many ticks they manage to get, but so far it's a great start today. Already about to be 2 ticks in. The convergence happening on the point now, but Flux are holding on, and that A point goes as quick as you like, and another wave of kills means they are ahead on lives by 2 and have 2 minutes 18 to do something with this B point. Salty picks up 1, is going to get onto the point quickly, trade it out, and that's the lives evened up. 2 minutes to work at B. What can Flux come up with? Ben W with 1. Mulbs with 1. Tick prevention, the name of the game for Infinity FPS, is Infinity nearly getting beamed there by Ben W, who we've seen shoot some absolute beamers. And continuing to try and do so, but Infinity the victor in that setting. As even you look at these KDs, so even across the board, moderately favoring the side of Flux, but ultimately barely anything in it as Salty picks up 1. He's stunned on the point. How he got that 1, I don't know, but he's been taken off. And they're in a good position to get advanced here, Flux. They're picking up enough kills, and Cormac in trouble. Doesn't check the right side, but he gets the kill. Now just trying to stay alive in mid, which could be huge. Will he pick up Salty? He won't. Salty has had a really good game so far in terms of picking up the important kills. A tick and a half gone at B. They're not going to take that down. An interesting but risky strategy for FPS. They would rather focus on getting the push back for Flux rather than just trying to clear that spawn. Maybe just not wanting them to get near that point again at all. The push into spawn coming in from Lampy, who has found himself weak but is going to get into that strong position, but getting shot in the back by Cormac, who caught him in the back, and Cormac taking shots at Murphy. They're back on B. The second tick not coming in as Mulbs picks up 1. Infinity with another, and he takes out Lampy. That was huge. Nearly 2 ticks gone. JC with another. Do they go to get this B tick down? Or do they smell blood in the lives? 9 v 14. Salty with 1. You look at this. It could be a spawn hit. There's a triple coming underground, I believe. They've just hit the point. They've gotten that second. They've gone for the rush stack, but cleared off it as quick as you like. Yes, they get that second B tick, but that was a clearance off the point, to say the least. 4v11, 27 seconds. It's possible, but it needs to be perfect. And they do have the map read. Infinity, they know where Flux are going to come. The spots come in. Salty's taken out. 3v11. A nigh on impossible job from here. Can Ben W get the drop on JC? The nades coming in. The reads are there. The stuns are in. Ben, you had no right to even win that, but you do. Murphy's going to get on the point. Murphy, Ben, stacked on. Ben still playing his life somehow, some way, but gets taken off it, and Infinity FPS take their defensive round. And I believe, if I've counted correctly, Flux Esports have 8 ticks. They got 5 there and 3 in their last offense. Whereas, I do believe that Infinity FPS are already on 5, meaning that given the lives that they have, I think Flux have the kills advantage. I believe Infinity FPS. Actually, they mightn't have the kills advantage. Infinity FPS need 3 or 4, I believe. Again, someone in chat can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I believe Infinity FPS need 3 or 4 ticks to guarantee themselves a defensive round. Well, this is going to be huge. Can they have a better start than they did last time? We're on board with Cormac, who's waiting for the push. Infinity with the first blood. Cormac mobs combining. Murphy the last up. Infinity going huge. Infinity's going to go for that power position. He's bashed the door though. Whoever's up top surely knows. He does. He gets taken out. The door bash. Crucial. But a tick. Already gone at B. The B was the first play and it's worked for 1 tick. And they're picking up kills here. Cormac trying to stay alive. Crosses to A. Good playing of the life there as they're now stacked to B. Or stacked to A, should I say. And the stretch coming in clutch here is Cormac with 2. Massive position. 22v25. Starting to capture that A. Now I've gotten 2 ticks. They just need 1 or 2 more. 1 to be even, 2 to get ahead. JC taking out Ben. Lampy taking out Infinity. Lampy with a huge 2. That second tick nearly gone at A, but not quite. Flux need to stop this A from being taken now that that B tick is gone. Infinity FPS played that masterfully, getting that B tick first, knowing that that will at least give them the advantage. If the A can be capped by Infinity, they will get defense on the next round. Cormac with 1. Ben trying to get round the back. Mega good timing on Cormac here. And he does, picking up the kill. Can he play his life? Though he doesn't, because they're all around him. And now playing for the point, but Lampy with a huge 2. And Lampy has gone huge from time to time. And now he's pushing out the spawn. Lampy, Murphy with kills. Folks, Flux may have turned up exactly when they needed to. Lampy on smoke. This wave of kills is huge. He's still going, Lampy. Salty with 2. Folks. Infinity's going to have to try and play his life here, but he gets really unfortunate timing where the peak still managing to take out 1. Lampy on a 5 spree. Slaying out that spawn. Still going. He's on the 6. Cormac, he's on the 7. Lampy has come in clutch. He eventually gets taken out. They can't get to the point. And Flux. Clutch Flux have, I believe, if I did count the ticks all correctly, guaranteed themselves a defensive round by a single tick. And with how that round was playing out, it looked very likely that it was going to be an Infinity FPS defensive round. However, you had Lampy absolutely pop off in the spawn, who's now 31 and 26. Top teams will have a player that drag you through the mud when you need to, and Flux now have that, but they still have to lock in. They need to win this defensive round. They did it before. Can they do it again? Lampy and Ben W combining for the first blood. Infinity with 1, trying to get round the back. Infinity with 2, eventually taken out by Salty, but the trades are in. Mulbs is there. 27v27. The first wave is down. Lampy with another kill, playing his life here, getting underground. He is a movement demon on this map, as he's gonna maybe pick up another here. Does he even get? I believe he does get it. He does, yes, before the trade came in. And Flux, they're slaying out here. This is a really strong defensive round for them. Infinity are in trouble in a map where they looked like they were going to go 2-1 up in the series. Now has gone the other way as Ben W. We were talking about Lampy slaying out. This Ben is not that far behind him, as he's now pushed them right up into the spawn trap. Only getting 1 before Lampy gets pushed out there. And folks, it's been a really strong performance from Infinity FPS. You can see by the KD, the amount of kills, they're even across the board. It's actually Murphy that's been slacking on the side of Flux Esports, but the players who have come in clutch, I mean, you had Ben W, who was only on average numbers, Salty on average numbers, have now joined the ranks with Lampy in terms of slaying ability. Now 21-12. Absolutely popping off. Lampy with another 2. Lampy wants that 40 bomb before the timer runs down. He's just 2 away, but he probably won't get it as he gets taken out there. Cormac with the rush. 20 versus 8. It's not going to happen, folks. And just like that, Flux Esports take map number 3. 3-2 in what was another super close affair. Ultimately, this time going the way of Flux. And folks, Lampy was on an absolute heater. Crazy plays from Lampy. And was vital in getting his team that map. So there you have it, folks. What you see on your screen, Flux 2-1 up in this series. A lot of these maps could have gone either which way, but Flux only still having dropped 1. We'll be looking to wrap this up in a protocol hardpoint, which is a map that to me seems like should be their forte, but we will see. Infinity FPS have surprised us once already. Maybe they can do it again. Don't go anywhere, folks. I'm not even actually going to go to the break because we're getting swapped so quickly. We genuinely might be getting straight into this one. This is how much faith I have in us moving through. The boys at Infinity FPS have work in the morning, of course, as well, so they do want to get this done absolutely rapid. And who can blame them? I have to cast 12 hours tomorrow, so I'm scared. Casting from 4 in the evening till 6 in the morning, I believe, with a couple of breaks here and there. So I'm afraid. But you know who should be afraid? Flux, as they're about to go to a map number 4 against a team with it all to prove on a protocol hardpoint. We have had one of the best streams in terms of the quality of games that we have ever had in COD Ireland this season 1 in its second half now. Never disappointing. Constantly giving us games like these where you just never know which way it's gonna go. Here we go. Flux, Infinity FPS, hardpoint on protocol. May the best team win. As we start on board with Ben. The nade. Hurting him a little, but not as much as he hurts JC with those vicious shots. But it is Cormac initially on the time. Flux wanted to play for top control on the other side, and they have got it, but not for long. Infinity with a big kill. Ben, though, with the trade, now around the back, and Flux have complete control at this point. JC going to try and be a bit of an outlier, but is in a tough position. JC just holding here. Has a good read of the spawns. Ben W absolutely beaming on that point there. Eventually going to be taken off though, as Infinity are looking to answer back with the scrap. It's going to be close. 17 to 10 after P1. We will move to P2 where Flux do have the spawns. And Cormac trying to win this fight against Salty, but not to be in. Lampy in with a knife kill as well. Murphy sitting on the point. Mulbs in with a takedown. Lampy trading him out quick though. And Lampy and Ben have started so strong. I mean, players who were really coming into their own in that last game. They seem to have found their rhythm here as Lampy continues. It's eventually a nade from his own teammate that does the job. Murphy may be getting jealous, but all the players on the side of Flux only died twice. As they look to hold this hill from the front, they don't have spawns. Murphy on the hold, eventually taken out by Infinity with the assistance of Cormac. Cormac now going to try and hold the scrap, picking up that kill with some beamers. And Lampy gets taken out. 44 to 27. Not a lot in it, but Flux in control of the kill so far. We did see that in the last hard point though, where even though Flux seemed to be in a lot of control, they weren't really making a count on the scoreline quite as much. But 48 to 27, they look relatively comfortable on the hold of this hill. This break from the front going to be huge. Mobs will get one, gets traded out. Cormac going to try and get in here and do a bit of damage. He should pick up one and does. Infinity with one. It's Ben W the last up. 10 and 3. Going to go up top, just about plays his life. And this could be him in a power position now. Standing at the rope with his knife. Just trying to get around and do damage. Going to catch a good bit of timing there in JC, meaning that Flux should be able to hold this scrap and rotate well onto the next point, which as we know is a power point. They have a chance to pull away with this map with a good hold here. Infinity FPS are going to need to get on with a break. They've picked up a nice 2. Ben though, big kill. Ben and Lampy. Once again, the duo combining. These two in the last game and a half have absolutely turned up. Flux Esports, a team that you don't think even have another level to go with how good they play, but my word, these players have really brought it to the fore here. As, oh my god, no. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have had a scan and repair. You absolutely hate to see a scan and repair in what is a vital game. Oh dear, folks. Let's not panic. We're going to try and get back into this one as quickly as we can. We may not get in on the codcaster, we'll try. But oh folks, I mean, come on, you absolutely hate to see it. In what was a crucial game. We're loading in, folks. We'll get there as quick as we can. I'll keep you on the line. I won't put you to a break. I won't put you to a be right back. We'll stay here and see if we can get ourselves back in. Because I still do have the lobby code as well. Okay. We may be able to get straight back in here. Okay, folks. It looks like we're going to be able to get in. Let's see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, the best I can do we get this up if the game decides it wants to show. Apologies, folks. The game should show in just a second. We'll see here. We'll actually go back until it does. No, wait. We just got it. There we go. Folks, the best POV I can get is on spectating, and we're spectating the side of Flux. We're currently ahead 144 to 93, as close as it can be. Again, folks, sincere apologies. Nothing I can do about that, but I've gotten us back in for the best view I can possibly get us. 151 to 93, on board at Murphy, who's just holding down the angle, as you need to do, holding this P3 and looking like they could pull ahead, but how often have we said that's the case and then it all of a sudden changed up? But mind you, I mean, Murphy slaying out there, eventually getting taken out by Infinity. And on board of Ben, who's going to get that kill in the hill. 162 to 97. Mulbs with a massive 2 to get them over the 100 point mark. And make no doubt about it, make no mistake, if Infinity FPS can rotate well to this next point, they're right back in this game. Just over 70 points in the difference by the time they hold this point. A huge point coming up, which could be a clean 60. So this could define the game. Who has rotated here better first? Ben W with a massive kill. He's going to get on this point. And the player has been spotted in that corner. They knew he was there. Smelling him out like a bloodhound. Ben W eventually getting taken out by mobs. His point is being contested, but it looks like as Salty Murphy pick up those kills, it looks like they'll hold. It's looking like that is going to be Flux's point, and if they get a clean 30 on this, it's all but done. That gap quickly reaching 100 points. Infinity FPS have put up a fight, but this may be a fight that's just a little bit too great for the side of Infinity. Flux, there was plenty of times in this series where they looked to be in trouble, but ultimately getting the job done, locking in as you have to do. And I mean, as you even take a look there, we can probably get a scroll through, or can we? I'm not sure. We can. I mean, Murphy 22 and 16, Salty 23-18, Ben 32 and 17, and Lampy 37 and 15. Lampy and Ben have been standout players, and in how you kind of had sometimes a bit of an S&D masterclass from Murphy. Lampy and Ben have dragged Flux through this one by the scruff of the neck, and obviously through the support of the teammates as well. Make no mistake about it, we are not going to underplay how important they have been to this. But Flux, if they want to look to their star players, look no further than what you're seeing right on your screen right now. Ben W popping off. Lampy, Salty, and Ben. Murphy, clean wave of 3. Folks, 10 seconds left. Hellstorm coming in, but it's from Infinity. It's Infinity with the Hellstorm. It'll do very little at this point as Ben... Oh my god, what are they on now? 43, 37, Lampy and Ben. Lampy still going. Lampy, is he going for the 50 bomb? He can't be stopped. Lampy on the 45 and 16, 46. The kill's coming in. He's still going. What am I seeing? Lampy completely popping off. The victory coming in. 250 to 120. What a map. What a series. 250 to 120, folks. We had a feeling that this was going to be a map, a mode that favored Flux, and we were proven right by that one. As Lampy just absolutely popping off, using that Omni movement to perfection. Folks, you absolutely love to see it. And while it was scuffed at the end with the viewing, which I can only apologize for, there you have it. Flux taking map number 4, 250 to 120, and taking this series 3-1. Folks, I've just got to say it. I've got to say it. Massive congratulations to Flux, who I had to fight through a little bit of adversity in that series. And massive commiserations to Infinity FPS, who in their return in trying to rush through their games in their double feature tonight, went up against arguably the top 2 teams in the division and gave them a real run for their money in most of the maps throughout both of the games. adding another map loss onto what has been nearly a flawless performance from Flux, who've only lost 3 maps this entire season and having nearly all their games played for the group stage of the season. It's just, it was an immaculate series to watch, and I definitely will think we will see Infinity FPS in the playoffs. They are currently not in those spots, but with the amount of teams they have left to play and the caliber that they've proven tonight, it should be pretty safe that they do indeed make it. Okay. Right. Just sending the boys a GG, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for watching. We've kept you longer than we intended tonight as we hit midnight. I will be casting for 12 hours tomorrow. If you want to check out what that's going to be about, make sure to have a look at my Zepcast Twitter. I'll be talking about it. We are streaming a new game. I'm doing it for just a different company. It's my own cast. My Pet Hooligan is the game. It's a new game that has recently come out on Epic Store. We'll be doing a cast over their Community Cup. If you want to check that out, make sure to go and have a look at my Twitter. I'll be posting about it there. I really hope you enjoyed the games tonight here at COD Ireland, folks. We've had some immaculate games, and again, I can only apologize for the scuffed viewing there. Infinity FPS taking it to the strongest teams in the league and giving them a run for their money, but ultimately falling short. If they manage to stick in with it and get into the playoffs, they're a team who could cause an upset to the top dogs here in this league. That is for sure. Probably coming away from this night disappointed, but there's a lot to be positive about going forward into the rest of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, we will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, which will probably be at some point next week, probably Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, maybe even Friday, depending, at which point it'll be the last stream before the break, where we will be going on a break for the Christmas, and then coming back after Christmas for the playoffs, or after New Year, should I say. So that is the plan. We may do YouTube videos doing some recaps then in that time, depending on how things work out. We've had a lot of technical difficulties in the background, but I am pleased to say the season is running well and smoothly, and a lot of players are really enjoying what we're bringing you. And season 2 announcements are coming. Keep an eye on the socials. If you want involved, you can be involved. Season 2 will be announced soon. Until then, folks, take care. See you next week. Peace.